Alright.
Welcome everybody to Block Talk. Can't talk. I can't talk for Block Talk. Welcome to Block Talk Episode 2, Tetris versus Changes. We got Microblizz, Garbo Can, Firestorm, Dal. I think Garbo Can and Dal's their first time on here. How's it going, Garbo Can?
Yo. What's up?
Dal, how do you do in?
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, not doing too bad.
How do you do in prime time?
I got like 2 point something million.
Oh,
it was alright. Yeah.
Is that number one?
I think you're gonna see like one, but with like 4 mil or something today.
Are you like one of the first time zones to play?
Yeah, pretty much. I think Germany or like get to play as well, but that's like an hour earlier, and like Norway and stuff. But yeah,
dude,
I'm shortly
You're
after.
giving the VPN users information.
I mean, I think it's already there, but yeah, fair enough.
I turned up Garbo a little bit. I think he was quiet. Firestorm, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
Good. Are you going to be able to make dinner? Or get to dinner in time? We'll see how the conversation
hopefully.
goes, I suppose. And Microblizz, are you warm?
Very.
Good.
Yeah.
You look
I'm
comfy,
cozy,
dude.
man.
Yeah, you look really cozy. I'm kind of jealous. All right, so let's get started. We have a lot to talk about today. I guess the discussion today is going to be in regards to, I guess, mechanical changes to Versus in general and some solutions we have in store, whether it's Tet.rio or any kind of game design aspects people are thinking about, and the issues with the current meta and problems people have with Versus right now. Obviously some controversial topics, but we'll get through it. We'll have some fun, and we have a nice group of 5 people here to discuss these changes. So first off, we're going to look through the current events real quick, which shouldn't take long, and then I also want to hear what Firestorm has to say about JS because of what he was saying earlier. And
Oh no. Oh no. Fuck.
wait, those are the
Well,
questions.
oh yeah, am I allowed to swear, by the way? Like,
I don't care. Go for it, dude.
alright.
I'm
who gives a
assuming the
fuck?
answer to that is yes.
Just not abusively. Don't exploit the fact that you're swearing the whole time, I guess. I don't have the explicit content or whatever on my stream, but
Just don't be a sailor.
yeah. All right, so recent events and things happening right now. I don't know if anyone was watching PPT Open last night, but Blink is the undisputed best PPT player in the world currently. He is undefeated in WPL and has a better record than Kazu. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Kaji
I
needs
think
to play
that-
more.
Kazu and Amai need to play.
You know, has Kazu been playing for over 18 years? Like, I don't fucking think so.
Isn't Kazu like 16?
What's Dormy and Kazu in the tournament? I think who's in the tournament.
Yeah,
is
like
just
that's
as
important
as
to
the
me
tournament.
because I don't care like if they win a tournament. I care about the people that were in the
No,
tournament.
no,
I
no,
care
that
about
doesn't matter.
the
That doesn't
manner.
matter.
No, that's not
I'm
important,
telling
dude.
you, dude.
Yeah.
Also, I
A
see
WPL
Amy
is a
representing
WPL, dude.
Tennessee. Pog.
Yeah, we're seeing the Blink dynasty again.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, this is his comeback. This is like he's going back to his glory years. You could see the fire in his eyes last night when he was playing because I was restreaming his channel pretty much the whole time. But yeah, not really. But it's fun to think that he's the best again. Red got second place with Sempoyo, Amy third place, and Bamji fourth. So I think that's Amy's first tournament. So congrats to her and Red just doing Red things.
Both
and
of those are Puyo
godlike.
players, right?
Amy's a Tetris player, and Bamji is Tetris from... Bamji's also from South Korea. There's so many South Korean Puyo Tetris players, probably because...
Well, that's really good considering the time zone. Makes me kind of surprised like some of the Japanese players don't go for it too.
Yo, have you ever played Puyo Tetris PC recently? Like, that game's been invaded by like Korean players. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, I'm not saying this like it's like anything bad, but it's kind of weird how like you can only queue against Korean people now. It's like,
But then they always dodge you as well afterwards, like in quick play. If they see they have a higher rating than you, or if you have
Oh,
a higher
really?
rating than them, then they just don't accept.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to play. I was trying to promote WPL on Friday night. I was playing. I haven't played PBT PC in forever, and then what you said exactly happened to me. I was trying to play against somebody, and he just backed out the whole time after I beat him, and it's just like two or three people in the
A lot
queue.
of the Korean players, they just hop around games. Like now that Han game's shut down, they're just trying everything out. Cause I'll see an influx on Zestrus, and then they'll leave, and then I'll see a lot on PPT, and then they'll leave. You know.
Wait, what do you mean by now that Han game is down? Wait, when was it?
Han
when was
game's
it
been down for a while, but
yeah, I was
it's
gonna
just
say
been
like
hopping.
you make it sound like it's recent as fuck, dude. It's like
It feels recent to me. Okay, I'm a Tetris.
what year was that? Wait,
Con, I think.
20...
It has to have been like when Puyo Puyo Tetris came out, like before that maybe.
Here's a
It's
newer.
gotta
I
have
remember
been,
like
2015 or
surgeons
some
of
shit,
like
right?
Korean players either quitting to go to League of Legends or coming to like it was like some game in Guideline Tetris.
It was like in 2014, I think, when it
Yeah.
shut down.
Like the smart ones moved to League of Legends. The smart
Yeah,
ones moved.
that's very true. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually what Yuhaha did. Like I was like, yo, why doesn't he go for like sub 1 minute 100 line cheese? And Alexandra, who was still part of the scene back then, she was like, he's playing League of Legends right now.
Wait, he actually left for League of Legends?
Yeah, he did. At the
Nice.
time,
His
at least. I
records
don't know what
now
he's playing
still
now.
hold up, dude. That's crazy.
A lot of StarCraft players did that too. They left our league and they really sucked at League. I can remember a few in particular. But all right, what else we got going on? I'm doing a CTWC qualifier. I think we have mostly Guideline players here, but if you play Nest, check it out. That'll be on the 27th, I think.
Are
So
we allowed to use keyboard?
as long as you can play in the actual tournament with the Nest, I mean, are you going to get qualified and then just not play? That's the thing. I don't mind
Yeah,
if you use
that's
keyboard.
the
but-
thing. Well, it's like I asked CTW people who were like CTWC, and it's like, well, even if I qualify, what do I do then? Because
Yeah.
I can't use keyboard for the online.
You'd have to get a Nintendo, or not even the Nintendo, but there's some other consoles you can use that are easy to order. Pretty sure.
I don't even have a TV.
Well, just use the LCD. You'll have a disadvantage, but it's doable.
Just the
I
extra
mean, whatever.
handicap.
It's Firestorm, dude. He'll figure it out.
Right, exactly. I'm not worried about you. You can figure it out. Full Throttle Weekly is something I don't think anybody here knows about it, and it's kind of funny because the Discord's fairly quiet, and he's doing prize tournaments, and I didn't want to tell anybody that same day because I wanted to win some money. But Bowser is hosting Full Throttle Weekly, and I think he's doing $80 a week, which is actually pretty significant. So
Oh,
Firestorm,
wait,
if you're looking for
what?
some extra
Dude.
money, yeah.
Uh-oh.
What?
You let Firestorm
There we
know.
go.
This is terrible.
I still lost the tournament, so I'm like, you know what? I don't care anymore. Let's just tell Firestorm.
How do I
So
find full? What's the link? Someone said.
so his challenge. I can put it in chat real quick. I don't know if
Hold on.
anyone's in
No,
Twitch
no, I
chat.
got
But...
it.
Ben mentioned it on Matchmaking Central like earlier this morning, and everyone who saw it was like, "Wait, what?"
Right, no one knew about it. The first tournament, it was like top 3, you get a prize, and I got 4th. I'm like, oh damn it. Well, might as well tell people now. So after that, okay, Tetris Cup is next weekend, I believe. So I'm sure some of you guys will probably be playing. I might try to play. I'm not doing a tournament that weekend. I mean, I'm going to get
It's
destroyed.
actually
But...
it's the return of me in tournaments. Like I haven't played in a Tetris tournament for fucking ages, right?
Oh, you're
But, like-
playing Garbo?
Yeah,
Dude, it's
I'm
like
playing.
2
Oh,
a.m.
nice.
for you. No, 3:30 a.m.
Yo, that's peak times for me. You know, I haven't slept yet, right? Like I'm supposed to be asleep right now. I'm staying
Oh,
up
I
for this
forget.
shit,
You
dude.
literally, you're a vampire. Freaking.
Dude, your sleep schedule. What is your sleep schedule?
I
He
don't know. It's
sleeps
whatever's
during
like
the day and
convenient.
he's up all night.
Yo, sometimes it'd be like 8 p.m. and then I'd be like, yo, where's Garbo? Like, doesn't he have stream in 2 hours? Like, yeah, he's still sleeping. I'm like, what?
It reminds me of Dormy. Dormy, every time I message him, he's always online too. I don't know what's up with that.
Okay, but Dormy's schedule makes sense. Well,
No,
to-
no,
Doesn't
it
it?
also doesn't. No.
He's French though. He's
His
like
schedule
running on
fucked
North
his
American
mind,
times.
If he sleeps at the American times. Garbos just sleeps if he's like, I don't know the reason for Garbos.
No, it's like
Schedule.
okay. Have you ever like just I don't know, like sat outside at like the middle of the night? Like that shit's amazing, dude.
I
Have
can
you
get
ever
with that.
sat outside while the it's nice and warm and it's sunny and it's beautiful.
Oh,
Okay,
no,
I
maybe
get
I
both
am
of
a
your points,
vampire.
but both are pretty nice actually. If you try
Right.
both.
I agree. I used to
Yeah.
work night shift, and back in the day at a warehouse, and
Yeah.
so I used to wanted to work I used to like to work out, and I would work out in the middle of the night, which could be sketchy sometimes, but it was so nice because
Yeah, but
nobody
it's
was
also,
around.
Like, isn't it like
But-
like so peaceful too?
Right.
Like it's so quiet.
Yeah, you don't hear nothing.
Right. I
Yeah,
used to run at the
exactly.
track, and there was
Everyone
no,
walks
it was
out in
pure
the middle of the night,
silence.
so you got to do it early in the morning when there's no one.
All right,
The
moving
morning
on.
actually feels like the middle of the night to me. You know, like if you're waking up at like 4 or 5, it's pretty much what it feels like to be nocturnal.
Yeah,
Like,
getting
in-
up at 5 is nice.
like a healthy way of going about
You
it.
kind of realize when you get older that the boomers were right all along. Getting
Yeah,
up.
actually though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to go with like the rhythm of the sun, but it's like I don't know. There's something
Yeah, go with the rhythm of the sun, so don't stay
Yeah,
up
exactly.
all night.
It's like-
Although-
being one with the flow of the universe basically.
Wait, Blitz, you get sun in Canada? I thought it was just cold.
No,
Uh,
there is
well,
none.
Yeah.
Garbo
it's
can
pretty
confirm that as
balanced.
well.
I mean, that's why you have to value it so much because it's like 364 days of snow and then, you know, that one day, it's what we come out for.
It's like after August is when it starts to shit starts to hit the fan a little bit. All right,
Yeah,
JS
also-
Cup.
Wait.
Go
Yeah,
go ahead.
Jeff-
Go ahead. I want to hear it.
Okay. So there was actually an overwhelming, absolutely huge incentive for me to join Jester's Cup this time around, and so there was actually this poll. It was created by Circulation, and he said who is better, Ben or me, and actually the majority vote was on Ben, and I can't take that, dude. Like I need.
I
to play
think I'd
better than
also
him.
vote for Ben.
and then yeah, this guy also said he also fucking said, hey, I will with my own money buy a sub to you if you place top 8. And I'm like, all right, dude, I'll be claiming my $2.50.
You know, which people would sub to me if I placed well in Jester's Cup?
Yeah, that's enough for me to like end my hiatus, dude. Holy.
$2.50 for
Nice.
a 6-hour tournament.
Yeah, whatever.
Potentially
dude.
longer.
Yeah. Wow. Who would have thought
Big
that's all it
brains.
would have taken for Garbo to get back into the game? $2.50, guys. That's the number.
I'll pay you $2.50 to enter tournaments.
Yo, bet. Wait.
Slice of
down.
the winnings, you know?
Maybe
Wait,
not all the
I'll be
tournaments,
the
but like.
first Tetris tournament player to be signed under a contract to play. Yo, that's pretty
Yeah, let's
fucking
not
good,
get that
right?
far.
So
I mean, technically,
it's
if
a
you're
start,
not
I guess.
there.
Wumbo beat you to it.
No, but he was
Oh,
getting
here we
paid
go.
to just like exist, dude. Like not getting paid to enter the tournaments, right?
That's fair.
Firestorm, have you played Wumbo in JS Cup recently?
No, I have not. Dude.
Wait,
Like
wait,
quitting
no.
before like it
Dude, he
gets to
set
that
you up.
point.
He set you up.
How have your
Dang
matches
it.
with him
Dude,
been in the
so,
past right
like-
after?
Yeah, what's interesting about playing Wumbo in Jester's Cup, it doesn't happen anymore because, you know, he hasn't been playing in them. But when I used to beat him, his fanboys would DM me with random stuff. Like, I got
Oh.
told to, like, go dive at one of them, and then they got fucked up.
Oh man.
Imagine
Yeah.
getting attacked by Wumbo fanboys. That's mad.
No, I
Like,
remember
okay,
that
okay.
story. That
Could you,
that
like-
is
okay.
just incredible to me. Like Firestorm, you told me some of the messages they gave you too. Like that's just insane to me.
Yo,
Were
read
they
out
that
some of
bad?
the messages. Like, don't say the names. Don't say the names of anyone. But like, read out the messages, dude. I want to hear
Yeah,
this.
this is the type of shit that Firestorm was doing when he was the champ. Like this to me is just incredible.
I don't know. It was mainly just like a lot of them made excuses too. It was just like, oh, if it was PPT, Wumbo would have won us. And I don't remember exactly because it's been a while and I like to just forget. But it's
Yo,
basically
are
along
people
the
okay?
lines of
Listen, Firestorm, find the message, dude. Are people watching this podcast to hear us talk about whether it's better to sleep during the day or the night, or your death threats? Okay, I think it's pretty clear, dude.
I'm with Garbo.
It was just that one portion, and it was just go die. There wasn't much to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's boring, dude.
Yeah, I remember
at least
this
put more
one
effort.
message that you told me you got was basically like, you said like if you guys were playing a real game, Wumbo would win, and like another one is like, you just got lucky. Like it's a good thing that Wumbo wasn't playing at the top game today. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Oh
yeah, you say that after the 7th time, bro. Say that after the 7th time.
Hey, dude, Firestorm. Next time you lose a tournament, can I talk shit for you?
Shut them the fuck up.
Next time Firestorm loses, I'm gonna like DM Dow like a bunch of shit. Tell him that Firestorm it's so much better than him.
Wait.
Oh yeah, Dow. I'm gonna tell Dow. Next time Dow loses to Firestorm.
Oh no.
Okay, dude.
All right. Anyways, moving on. WPL Tet.rio Open number 9 is gonna happen someday, probably the weekend after. I kind of want to change up the structure a little bit, be it a little more noob friendly. So stay tuned on that. And now we can get into.
What do you mean by noob friendly?
I'm thinking about having a tier system. So, like, top 16 seeds will have their own separate bracket. And then if you have a tier system as well, the tournament speed in general will just be quicker. So,
I mean,
people won't have to dedicate
I guess
as
if we're
much
talking
time.
about like Underdogs Cup and stuff like that, I think part of my problem with that is just like, the person who's gonna win is just the person who's like should almost be like in the top tier but is in the noob tier. Like it's not very.
But
You
I mean,
could
it's not
kind of.
supposed to be like a competitive thing, anyways, right? It's just like.
Can we talk
know.
about how Underdog Cup?
Yeah, I was
actually
about to
is-
bring that up, actually, because I actually completely forgot about that. So,
I was
there
gonna
was some-
say Underdogs Cup raised more money for the tournament pool than the main tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's because people would rather watch like lesser skilled players because they make mistakes, right? Like.
I guess we're
Yeah.
getting into our topic now.
Yeah.
to
There
some
almost
extent,
seems
yeah.
to be like, okay, to me, this does get into the topic because like watching newer players play is much more interesting because there's almost more to say in their mistakes and just like there's more personality that I see in
They're
their
human,
gameplay.
dude. They're human. Like,
Exactly. Like, you can still
feel a
see the
struggle, dude.
humanity in them before like the bot takes over. It's like no, like the numbers crunching. This is the path to go to instead of like, let's just spit out whatever and see what happens, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. Like watching Firestorm play, like actually, okay, Firestorm. Don't take any offense to this, because you're actually like you're what Tetris players like. You're what optimal Tetris play is, right? But like, dude,
Yeah.
that shit puts me to fucking sleep. Holy, like, I'm just saying, dude.
It's
you
it's
don't have
like
to have
too much of a good thing equals a bad thing. Like for me, it's just you're too perfect to the point where it's like, this is like been there, done that. Like I'm looking at this, like, can you just make a mistake already so that we can deviate from the path that's most optimal? That's what makes it interesting to me. Like to me, players like I was talking to QMK about this. Players like Diao are like the Avatar. You know, they got all 4 elements. They like use every tool in the book. That's why like it's so interesting to watch them play. But I mean, when you don't do that and just go for static patterns, it gets a little dull.
I-
Well, no, even Diao like is very highly optimal, right?
I love
it's
watching
just-
Dow.
There's more to his play, right? But to someone who's like who can't really appreciate the subtleties of it, it's like it's probably still just as boring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, that's what I imagine. I just like from interacting with normies, I kind of like have I can think in their language too. I don't fucking I don't know how to describe this, but yeah.
I think with
Like-
that, like my first thought is the speed is like a double-edged sword. It's like awesome that the players are moving so fast, but you miss the subtleties, like you were saying. So when
I think it's like there was this we talked about this before, Garbo, like when you were making that chart, but I really do think that hump that you were talking about between, you know, the people who are like about good enough to become pro and then the people who actually do become pro, like that hump is freaking huge. It's almost like you're talking and speaking about the game in a different language once you get over that hump, which is interesting. I mean, like the hyper optimized, yes. It's just like there's like this disconnect once you get over the hump. It's like this bridge between you, and the bridge is like falling down. You have to find your own way over this rift, like this Marianas Trench down there that you're gonna fall into if you don't get over it.
Oh, we forgot to talk about an important current event.
Go on.
What?
I beat Shin in Tetra League, soft drop only 7-6.
Oh wait. I was playing soft drop only until the last game, and I screwed up so bad. No, what happened? Sorry, I got so hostile. I got really hostile for a sec. Apologies, but it was 6-1, right? And then I started doing soft drop only. I was feeling confident, but I never beat him with soft drop. And then
I think it was 6-2.
Oh, was it 6-2? Maybe.
Yeah.
And I started doing soft drop only because I was feeling confident. And then on the game point, I choked so hard. I felt terrible. But even if you beat or even if you beat Firestorm with soft drop only, you don't feel good about it. It's just like it's ultimate BM. But it's actually really fun to play.
I mean, just the fact that he needs to play with soft drop for you to have a chance is BM on its own. Like, I mean, it's just what the fuck, dude? Yeah. Why would you do that to me?
But soft drop versus soft drop.
I wanted to
really
see
fun.
how high I could get in Tetra League to prove the point of efficiency is good.
Did you actually reach 24k TR?
I did. I was at 24,100. And then I went on a losing streak, and I'm back down to 23.9.
Right.
At
least you haven't lost to like
efficiency is important, but more like you're just that much more efficient than everyone else, right?
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. They're being like.
Well, I mean, on both ends, don't you think like it proves both points? Like, to be efficient is to do more with less PPS as well. So he can accomplish more than the average player just because he's also.
I don't think
efficient.
I don't think like your average U rank player is thinking they're like super efficient, right?
Right.
I don't think there are people like
can confirm.
Well, that's what I was discussing like before. There's like this language, like we're speaking different languages once you get over the hump, because like it's about like so much more efficiency in terms of your decisions, but there's like that disconnect too. Like an average player isn't gonna know what the heck we're talking about, even in terms of like making your board more efficient, like what kind of shapes to make.
I don't know. The people who are good at the game legit make zero sense. Like I'm just saying, because I can kind of like I'm at the point where I can kind of like decipher this weird like talk, right?
Yeah, like you're in the middle, so I'm kind of curious what you think, because you say like we make no sense.
Like I can translate in between like the two sides, right?
Yeah.
Like between.
I'm curious about that part. What part of us don't make sense to you?
Okay.
Yeah.
But like when I wasn't as good at the game, right? Okay. So I remember this is something you were saying, right? This is your words, Blizz. So,
okay, all right.
So you're kind of my example. What like that I think of instantly when I think of people being like nonsense. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, this should be interesting to dive into.
When you're explaining Tetris, you're like, it sounds like you're like. Okay, I understand that there's some like practicality to this, right? That when you're like a higher level player, but this is what you sound like, right? You know, Tetris is a dance. You get into the rhythm.
I remember this.
You get a feel for your opponent's rhythm, and you dance with them.
What do you mean that doesn't make sense? That makes perfect sense.
It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Okay.
I'm with Blizz.
Okay, I'm glad Firestorm is at least here.
Dal, what do you have to say about this, Dal? Let the Dal talk here. Dal
I
has.
think your issue with this would be you don't understand dancing, then Garbo, because that analogy makes perfect sense.
See, and this is what I mean. No, Garbo, this is a really good point.
Fuck you.
No, this is a good point, because among these people, I think like Firestorm is the only person who actually understands what I mean when I say dancing with your opponent. Like, High level play, that's what I mean. Like there's like, it's a different language. It becomes conceptual. It's about ideas, because this was actually something that I noticed when I was coaching a noob for Underdogs. Like, I just became a coach. One of the things that you had to do was do an interview and coach somebody. When I coached them, like, I found myself learning things about my own decisions that I make that, like, it's just autopilot to me. Like, I don't even think about the decision. It's made. But then once I start breaking it down, like, I had to break it down for the person. So it's like, there's so many layers of justification between decisions that we've already decided on that it just becomes like, this is the results.
But yeah, that's why I think that like very high level players like have tons of trouble explaining things, right? Because it's like they have to. It's not like they go from the problem. They understand the like decision making. They understand the
it's like
and then the solution. Yeah.
Right. It's like a step-by-step process, but like we get to skip steps 1 to 9 and just go to 10.
Yeah. So you know by intuition, right? You have the problem, you know the solution, and then when you try and explain to someone, you don't go like the linear path. You go backwards.
Right.
So you
and actually,
problem,
I think this ties in really well. Like, you want to talk about System 1 and System 2 that you were discussing before?
I don't know.
Does that apply here? Like, I mean, it's basically become autopilot. Like, it's very mechanical at this point. High level play, even though it's like a delicate balance between maintaining the flow. And I mean, even that, like, I just said some bullshit again.
You did it.
No,
I just did it right there. You fucking did it.
So playing
I swear to God, Firestorm, you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Tetris is like onions of good play. So for us, when we try to explain it at the top level, all top players pretty much have downstacking. Like I guess like your decisions, like can you downstack, can you upstack? We have those basics mastered. So then when people talk about getting better, we just kind of make the assumption it's like, oh, you want to talk about timing and the rhythm of the game. When those
okay,
yeah.
Firestorm. See, the thing is, right? Like, that you don't come off as like smart, right? You come off as pretentious when you say shit like that. Like, I know that's not the intention, right? But when you're like, you know, Tetris is like a fine glass of wine. Like, when you...
I think Liz gets what I'm trying to say, hopefully.
I get what he's trying to say, but I also, like, it sucks because I also get what Garbo's saying. And I mean, this is what I mean. Like, I can't be a man of the people. I don't speak for the people. I speak for the elitists because I am one.
You're the
like,
1%.
I'm just like the 1%.
You come off like that, right? It's
but
like,
okay, this is what I think this is one of the core issues, right? And I mean, you're a good example. Like, you are verbalizing the flaws that Firestorm and I have as players and people who can't actually relate to the normies anymore because we've ascended to this level of understand. Like, there's this lapse of knowledge that you need to know just to be able to get to what we're talking about conceptually.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, I can understand like the reason why you would
somebody
things like that.
Fucking get QMK in here. Do you agree with me? Somebody get QMK in here. He's the only one who understands me.
QMK, pop in chat.
You, Micro. I got you.
What do you think, Dal? Dal's
I mean, like,
personally, I think that you go Firestorm.
Oh, I'm gonna try this again. It's like proteins. Well, there's like a primary, secondary, and tertiary structure. So like when we analyze the game, we're looking at like the overall structure of the protein, and then like
right.
Holy shit!
And then
this
like
doesn't help.
And when you want us to like explain the basics, it's hard because we've already like assembled part of. Okay, never mind. I tried.
No, go on.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I tried.
Shen, can I leave?
I mean, what
No, you gotta put up with it, man.
Personally, what I think is like, when you start off, everyone has their own individual mistakes. So like you also have like your kind of kinks in the armor kind of thing, but every kind of kink is different to each other, like to everybody else's. But then when you're trying to learn, you're trying to become more of a robot or trying to shine out those kinks or like trying to fix them up. But eventually you'll you'll all reach up to the same like you'll all reach to the same like final structure, but just in different routes. But it's
Right.
difficult to try and create like a one syllabus for like creating or like trying to be the best like Tetris player, depending on your
Yeah,
the-
like I think Dal is striking like what the idea we're trying to get. Like we treat Tetris like, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, it might sound silly, but Tetris is kind of like how you go about life in terms of solving your problems.
I knew it.
Look, okay, it's like making all the mistakes and then like finding a solution to those mistakes and then optimizing it over and over again. And we've just put in more hours. And I mean, that understanding, like, it's so particular though. Like, you have different tools in Tetris, right? So it's just getting familiar with those tools. It's like working in carpentry. You just get more and more familiar with the tools the more time you spend, right? You're gonna have a different
I think we need to go to dancing
rub
lessons.
it in this certain way and then like use the wood in a certain way.
Like once you get to the point where you have like the basic T-spin and downstacking principles, what you really look at to improve and analyze at the top level is like the flow of the game. Like when people are deciding to upstack and downstack and the different ways that you and your opponent can interact. Like if you put every top player in a single player game, they're not gonna play exactly the same, but they're all gonna play like pretty optimally, you know? So then at the
Yeah,
high
like
level,
I think you end
multiplayer
up in about the same place, so it becomes more and more static the more hyper optimized you make something. Like this isn't anything really, I think. But I mean, one of the core issues I see in Tetris is like the individuality doesn't show so visually at the top level.
Yeah, there's
It's
like
hard
there
to
definitely
see
is
it.
differences, right? And like
Yeah,
I'm sure
like
if
fuck
you
all the
showed,
conceptual talk, like, you know, whatever. we're being stupid. All right, that's fine. You guys can just think that, but the core problem is like you don't see what we're trying to tell you that we see.
I mean, because like it's so subtle, right? And that's a terrible thing. Like people think a lot of
Exactly.
people
Yeah,
think
and
that,
I'm
like,
in
subtlety is
agreement
good,
with that.
but,
Yeah,
this
like
is over subtlety. This is like literally
Well-
invisible. Like
I mean, I'd bring up the point of like, if we're talking about the entertainment value of the subtlety, I mean, a lot of people who watch. This is what I can't figure out. Like, chess is so subtle of a game. Each decision has like, it does something for your position and stuff like that. But it's so hard.
Yeah.
If you don't play chess, you're not gonna understand it. So like,
yeah. No, and I get
Tetris
like
is
what
kinda-
Firestorm is saying because it's like,
yeah.
I mean, it really is a different language because you have to learn it first. Like, I mean, how can, for example, like, I don't know what the hell is going on in League of Legends, but people say a lot is happening. I'm like, I don't know, just move the
I don't know, you
character.
see, like,
press
colors
button.
Wait, I'm in the
everywhere,
same
it's
boat
like-
as Michael. League of Legends is confusing.
Yeah, but apparently it's really complex. I mean, I can see
League of
why it
Legends
would
is, like,
be.
artificially complex. Like they add so much shit to that game. There's just like so many items, so many like champions and stuff.
Right.
That is, it's
Always
like,
with the meta changes as well and stuff.
Yeah.
but it's almost like a great thing, right? Like
I think that's a great thing to have too much almost because like at the very least like it becomes more difficult to optimize. Like Tetris is flawed well, it's perfect and flawed because there's not a lot of rules. It's a very simple game, but then we made it into this.
But like, okay, like League of Legends, right? Like you wouldn't hear anyone, like any pro player in League of Legends being like, you know, laning phase is like a dance. Like you don't ever hear people like that, right?
There's probably a few. There has to be.
Okay,
few.
like
That's
this is the
because
context
there's
that I
just, like, so
think
much
of
to
it
think
in.
about,
Like
right?
you like with games like chess and Go, you also see players thinking more conceptually too. Like I think this is just the nature of high level play. At least like, I mean, there should, in my opinion, be like some similarities to strike between the three games that I mentioned.
Have you ever seen Magnus Carlsen trying to explain sets? It's kind of the same issue. He's so good at the game, he can't he explains it like all right, but he's just like, oh, I just know.
Also, when they
Yeah, but,
do
like, I
explain
think
it,
that's not a good thing. Like that's terrible.
It is. I mean, it's not a good thing. I think. I mean, it works for chess just because it's been around for like thousands of years, and it's had its time to develop. But Tetris is like 30 years old. Like relatively speaking, that's really young. And I mean, I don't know if there's as much depth in Tetris that can so visibly be shown. Like one thing that I was talking to QMK about is turn-based game actually invokes more innovation in play, as opposed to like the faster the game becomes, like there might be innovation, but at the highest level in anything, if you bottle cap the speed and if you like raise it, either way, both will become hyper optimized towards a certain, like it looks the same eventually.
That's like the
You know,
argument
Puyo
for
Puyo
line clear
Tetris,
delay, right?
top
yeah.
player Tetris looks the same to me. As opposed to like Justress, like eventually it becomes the same too. Everybody's just gonna want to play like Firestorm. Those are the most optimal paths, is what I mean.
Well, I think the issue, if we're talking about Puyo Puyo Tetris, I think line clear delay is a stupid solution to the problem.
Well,
'Cause, like,
I'd like to think of ways around line clear delay, but I don't think it should be off the table. Like, I don't think it should be absolutely off limits. Because if this
the
is
issue
like
with
really
line
overneeded-
clear delay is just like you see a great down stack, right? But then you can't do it because there's line clear delay, and Dormy's so much faster, and he's just gonna kill you.
But like for everything like that, there's also like some really stupid skims where you just like want to play faster to take the skim, right? Like if you've ever watched Vince HD play versus, right?
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many like overstack and then skim down, overstack and then skim down, but there's like no punishment to it, right? Because he's just that fast.
I mean,
So-
there is punishment at the top level. It makes him less efficient ultimately. Like,
Well, he's less efficient, but he can make those like decisions so much faster.
Yeah.
They take
Like,
less
he can
brain
afford to
power,
make
right?
those
To
mistakes.
Garbo's
Yeah.
point, I actually do think speed is a problem, and actually, like, I got a first indication of that yesterday when I was playing like a bunch of sets with CZ. We must have played like 20 sets of first to 7 sets on like Tet.rio, and like the entire way through, he was like 4 PPS and up. Like, I had to play at my absolute best, and I had to be so focused just to keep up with him. It's like, what the hell is this? Eventually, players are going to be able to do that shit, and there's no counter other than just like getting faster. What a stupid solution to a problem.
Okay, Blizz, you're only figuring this out now. This is what everyone else had to
Right.
figure out.
This is how I felt against you for like years,
I
dude.
don't like using this word. I don't like using this word, okay? But you are fucking privileged, dude. Holy shit.
Is this the 1% complaining?
Something I joked about before too. Like, it really is a privilege, and like I saw it firsthand because I don't have a lot of situations where I have to play someone who's faster than me or plays
DC
multi.
doesn't play that fast. He plays at like 4 PPS.
Oh,
Okay, like I think. I mean, one
Oh,
of my
God.
difficulties with it, like, what the fuck did you just say, Firestorm? You're not helping us. Jesus Christ, man! Like, he plays 4 PPS. That's not insane to you? I mean, like,
Not
10 years
really.
ago, we were barely
When I'm
cutting
on-
it at like 2.5, dude.
When I'm on point in Zestress, we play at the same speed. It's a good game. I like my sets with him.
That's great because you can match him in efficiency and speed. It's just, what are the rest of us supposed to do? It like think of all those big brain players. Think of all those big brain players that aren't getting represented because of the speed differentiation. I mean, you really can't do anything. I mean, don't you think players like Captivate would do really well in a game that might be a little slower? I mean, there
Captivate's
must be
like-
some way
Captivate's
to
like a
balance
whole
this.
different thing. Like, I don't think we should be talking about Captivate. And, like,
Maybe like Numo or
Like-
something. He can keep
That's
up with
fine,
like
but you know,
very
right
fast
now we're
players.
talking about whether or not speed is like an issue, and I think it can be eventually. Like, we don't have a whole lot of people like CZ who can maintain those speeds, but I mean, it seems troubling to me, just like it's troubling to me that there are only so many counters for the 4 wide. There's only so many counters for speed if you're efficient. If you're facing someone who's fast and efficient.
Yeah, but I mean, anyways, like, there's also the fact that, like, with speed, right? There can be a there's a argument to be made for not taking the most efficient option that you can make, right? Just because if you just go faster, right, you won't be as punished for it. Like, there's a balance for speed and efficiency, and right now the balance is like more skewed towards speed from what I'm finding, right? And I don't think that that's necessarily like the best. I think it should strike like a decent balance. And if it were to be skewed one way, I think it should be skewed further towards making efficient decisions. Just because.
Are you
I
well?
guess,
Okay,
like-
you talked about like implementing Allspins for that. Do you think that's the next pathway? Because
Well,
if efficiency is going to be the next thing, then Allspin seems to be the natural progression, or like something like Misa-Mino level optimizing in terms of downstack combos into like TSDs or something.
see, like, okay, the thing about Allspin, right? And people when they hear Allspin, I don't like using that word very outright, just because people like ready their pitchforks, right? Like
I think Allspin is
I can-
fine. It's
see it right now.
them
Allspin
popping up,
sitting messy
but-
is what got me triggered.
the idea behind Allspin is that you're like you want to raise the average value of every single piece, right? And then when you raise the value of each piece, the potential value of each piece, then that'll mean that like taking a little bit longer to think about your next move would be better, right? And that's just like that's just some theory that I came up with that is like I don't know. I guess
I
it's pretty
mean,
obvious.
The counter
Okay,
argument
but
to your
how do you
theory
deal
was-
with?
oh.
Okay, so this is one of the issues that I mean, this might be like just the speed issue, but Tet.rio, for example, for some reason demands urgency. Like we talked about how it's predominantly like downstack meta driven, like getting to a safer spot as opposed to like, you know, setting up a fractal at the top of the field. Like there's obvious downsides to the fractal. Like you're not going to be able to get it off very frequently if you do that. Like that's the speed issue that we're trying to solve, right?
I don't know, not entirely. I think that like the speed issue runs a lot deeper than that.
You don't
It's,
think like the
yeah.
same speed issue is going to like we're not going to run into the same issue if we incorporate all spins? Like
Oh, I don't
have
think
you seen,
Allspin
for
is, like,
example,
a
players
thing that
like
fixes
Hiroko
everything.
and like those L spin setups that he can set up for example, that might become the new ST stacking.
I think Garbo also
But
mentioned.
is ST stacking relevant? Yeah, what? Wait.
Garbo, you also mentioned. Well, I mean, all spins doesn't have to be straight up like the same power as a T-spin double, for example. So say you do like an
Yeah.
S-spin double, you can have different levels of attack with different all spins, or have it be more minis and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I don't think that Allspin is the only answer, right? Because if you just add Allspin, like people are gonna get used to Allspins, and then we're gonna be in the exact same spot. But
Right.
like,
Exactly.
And that's
I-
my
I-
worry, because I mean, if you bottle cap the speed or just leave it as it is, you can change the other rules as well. But the same issue is going to come full circle because people are just going to get efficient at a different way of playing. We saw the same thing happen with like Tet.rio meta. It was a new thing, but now everybody's got it optimized to a certain extent.
I mean, I wouldn't
Do
say
they?
optimized, but that's besides the point, right?
Right.
Like, I think that the best way to add more like more efficient or not what's the word for it? More like thinking and more like
I'd like to leave,
interesting
like,
decisions.
this is where
is-
I think your head is at. Like, you talked about the value of different pieces as if, you know, like there are multiple pathways and avenues that you can take with these same pieces. If like any player were to have like the same set of pieces, you can make like hundreds of different setups, or, you know, like go about it in a number of different ways, if not 100. Like that might be a little much. But like that's the idea you're getting at, right? Just to make it more versatile and varied.
Well, that's like a very, very conceptual. Like on a more fundamental, like basic standpoint, right? Like let's say you have a ton of clean garbage on your board, right? Like you can only really clear that clean garbage with eye pieces, right? And you only get one eye piece per bag. So like you gotta burn through the other pieces somehow, right? So like you better be
Right.
stepping on the gas. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
there's even stuff as simple as that. That's like that it has pretty low value for the other pieces, right? Just because the eye piece is more needed, more scarce. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah, no, I get what you're
Yeah, yeah.
saying, because like I even talked about this in terms of like the current meta, like the way that Firestorm plays, for example. He's optimized it to the point where you can get a T-spin double every continuation and iteration that he can get it, basically. So you're saying like you basically want to increase it so that it's not just T-spin doubles that can be used, for instance, as like
in all
your main.
honesty, In all honesty, I don't think Allspins would change the. I think you still run into the speed problem.
Yeah, I get that's
Because
what we were saying. Yeah, you totally.
I have 1v. No, you're gonna run into it instantly though. Is what my point. Because I played Baseball Boy, and Worldwide Combos Allspins, and then I just had to T-spin an eyepiece, and I'd win, even though he was.
Dude, but
What?
you're just like that much better. Like, imagine
No,
if someone
no,
like
no.
more
He was
comparable.
playing all efficiency. He usually all spins well, and all efficiency was almost the same as my point. Like, on all honesty, I don't know how much it would actually change the efficiency if you did all spins.
Well, okay.
Just
That's
gives
because
you
no
an
one's
even
actually
more-
like good at real-time all spins. That's not like Baseball Boy is good at KOS, but real-time all spins, like you're not gonna see him reaching like peak efficiency. So just because you can like
Have you
out-T-spin-
seen Baseball Boy play all spins?
I have
mean-
seen him. No, I have seen him, right? But like if you compare his real-time gameplay, like he's a KOS player, right? You see him on KOS, he's nuts. But like
I think
I
the
don't
best thing to look at is the actual like worldwide combo tournaments where you see the like where all spins are actually enabled in versus, and like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
even
But the problem
Even-
is that like there's not a lot of people who are like actively trying to get better at worldwide combos, like all spin, right? Like it's not a very main mode. There's not like a ton of manpower being devoted to like learning shit, figuring shit out. Like people I've seen it too. I've seen it a bit. I've seen like Cyperion play, and it doesn't look like people are trying that hard, right?
Because there's
Like-
not a point to. Is what I'm. 'cause
Exactly,
let's say-
exactly.
No. Let me finish. If we keep the bag system, there's no need to loan all spins. You'd have to change the bag system too. Because if I
Right.
get a T piece every 7 pieces, it's
oh you
not
you
really
just
gonna make that
continuously
much
do the
of a
same thing all
difference.
over again.
No. There is a need to because there's more flexibility, right? There's more flexibility, and you could be that much better. Like I don't know if you're.
I can
seeing
see how it could become more versatile, but I can also see like eventually, it might be years from now, but we're going to eventually reach the same point that we've reached now with standard play, but
Yeah.
instead with all spins now.
So I'm
This
I'm
is-
in agreement with that. Yeah, exactly. But that's why I don't think that all spin is like the solution, right? I just think that all spin is something like good to consider, right? And something that is.
Do you
worth
consider it
thinking about.
as like a permanent addition, or do you consider it as like an alternative, at the very least, an option to explore at the moment?
an option? Like,
Okay.
because okay, you know how little we fucking tried in Tetris, dude? Like nothing. Like, like you got like the systems, right? You got
Yeah.
TTC gave you like the guideline system or whatever.
Yeah,
And then people
and
just,
actually,
like,
like,
sat on it, dude.
speaking to you made me see how problematic that was. That like a game like this, even though like it's a great game, it's just it hasn't changed mechanically in the last 30 years. I mean, like Guideline might be a little more recent than that. Like maybe Tetris DS, I think, was the first
That was
Guideline
like 2004.
4.
2005
Or
I
something,
think.
yeah. 2004,
Yeah, something
5.
like that.
But-
And like the game hasn't changed fundamentally. The same rules that we were
Hey.
teaching from way back then still work today.
Tetris
And I
friends
think,
added
like,
combos
that-
though.
Do you guys think that's problematic? Is that a problem?
I think that the fact that no one questions it is problematic. Like if there was
Hmm.
something like actually airtight, like solid, right? And there were no problems with it ever. And
I
like,
really wonder what players like. Well, I mean, like, I really do think Beast and we should do like the legal talk with Kataru podcast at some point, because I mean, like, are there any barriers legally in terms of like what Tetris Guideline is supposed to be that may have prevented it in the past? Like, I know, for example, like Nopo was like a big project, and I don't know, like I imagine there might have been difficulties in making it like happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think even in that avenue, like people releasing their own Tetris games hasn't been explored that much because of one failed project, or I think what was it called, Miso or something? Mino, I think it was just called Mino.
the mobile game.
I think it was a mobile game, right?
Yeah,
I
it was
can't
like
remember.
a Chinese mobile game, and there was the court ruling of it.
Yeah, it got shut down, but I don't think it was well represented. At least that's the attitude I was getting from Kataru, who explored that idea a little more. I think it just it strikes me in such an odd way that Tetris has control over something so simple. Like it's such a simple game mechanic. I feel like it would have came up regardless of who made it at some point.
I can't have any.
Yeah, like
takes
I
on this,
imagine
yeah.
there's not. I mean, there's a lot of variations of the same type of game, but not a lot of variations of different ways of playing the game. You know, mechanically. I mean, that's what's interesting to me.
I think it's very static, and there's a lot you can do with it. The
Yeah.
problem that we're running into now is that I think it's just because we're sticking to the same static system. It's just
Well,
getting
yeah,
really.
like I think one of the issues in the game is like level of depth. I mean, it
Yeah.
can be complex like once you get into it, but it's also not really.
Also, being static's not a bad thing. Like chess is still popular, for example. I watch chess, and it's just like
But I think there's more avenues to explore in chess. Like,
right.
there isn't a perfect game
There's more
yet.
depth, and if you have
Yeah.
more depth to something static, that's all right. If there's
Right.
Tetris is lacking
So
depth and
I
it's
don't
static.
think Tetris is a static game. I think the mechanics of like something about, I don't know, like there's a combination of things here for sure that makes the game to me feel static. Because the game itself isn't static. You can do such crazy things with it. Like we have streamers making
Right, that's true.
part setups and shit like that. Like you can do anything. It's a shape making game, but then like multiplayer forces you to like play in a certain way. So I mean it becomes static, right? So that's where
Also,
like I think
hmm.
the problem is like, well, I don't know if this is the problem, but multiplayer, I mean, it doesn't feel expansive enough. You're forced to play in a specific way.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't feel like okay. I don't know if this is like a controversial thing to say or not, but I think that it actually needs more depth. And so
No, I
and
agree. This is
I think
exactly
we
what
all
I'm
can
trying
agree
to
with that.
I think that because there's like a lack of depth, right? Like the ideas of the highest level players, it has to be like creating your own depth, right? And I'm not saying
Yeah.
that it comes out of nowhere, right? But it's like such tiny little changes that
Well,
like,
yeah,
you can
like
only
you're
describe it as
exactly
like a dance,
capturing the
right?
bullshit that I talk about. Basically, that you guys don't, you know, there's no connection. Like I just say things and it means nothing to you.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm adding layers of complexity to a simple thing because it's like what works in my mind.
And there's
like how
nothing more. There's no extra like way to go. You're at the end of the road already, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
basically. So like I don't know, maybe there's like overthinking involved. Like once you reach like the highest that you can go, it's like, you know, overcomplicating it so that you have more to explore.
yeah. But anyways, wait, Shen, was there anything else about this that we wanted to talk about?
I mean, I guess we can move on at some point, but I guess my last thought is I just lost my train of thought. So with the static multiplayer, where was I going with this? I was thinking about moving on to characters. I had a point. Maybe we'll get back to it. But yeah, I mean, so Tetris is we can innovate the multiplayer without actually like ruining the core mechanics. We can still be good players. Like if we adapt the game to something different, like a character system or anything really. There's so much you can do with the game because it is so simple. It is so pretty plain and dry. Like you're dropping pieces, you're clearing lines. I mean,
there was kind of one idea I had. Well, after you just brought up about the chess topic, was like, so you know how like, you know, certain pieces have certain roles. Why don't do the same thing for Minos? Like actual Minos have certain roles where maybe doing like like some S spin or something doesn't just send a line, but it does something else, like maybe cancels more that's incoming, or actually like prioritizing on certain Minos to do something instead, which could open up a bit more and like actually maybe create new styles or new strategies based on how you actually clear the lines on like in the game and stuff.
I'm not a big fan of like adding more.
That would be really
complexity to that
interesting.
stuff,
It's
but
just I don't
interesting,
see that being possible at the highest level to like do immediately. I mean, that's something to plan for. I think Tetris is one of those games that like I mean, there's steps to it, so you can plan for things very obviously. Like to even before like it's set up, you can see something coming within like 3 or 4 pieces. Like if you can visualize it enough. But I think like what we were talking about before, Garbo, like your suggestion, it like Allspins as an option, and Dal, like I think we're Right now, like I think it would be beneficial to explore rewarding more things. You know, like for example, Allspins. Just having more options would make the game more dynamic. The more options you give a player to optimize towards, or to explore, the more different the game's going to become.
But
when people
wouldn't
are-
that actually create more of a personality though between certain players if you
exactly?
actually
No, I'm
introduce the
saying this is
different
a
things?
good thing. I'm saying this is a good.
All
Yeah,
right.
because like, the more options you have, the more you can say, the more innovation. Like innovation here is what I want more of in Tetris, rather than just back-to-back setups over and over again. Getting to a safer position just to back-to-back again.
Well,
And
I mean,
then-
if we're talking innovation, hey, let's. That's a perfect segue. What do you think? What do you think, Shed?
Yeah,
Can I
okay.
take this one?
Well, to Dal's point, and to your point, there's so much you can do with the game, and it has been the same since since the game was released, 1989, or I think it was 89. And even on,
84.
okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but even on NES Tetris, there is a hidden multiplayer mode, and it's like almost the same. It's like you get sent garbage and shit. It's been the same ever since fucking 1989.
Wait,
That's
there
on
was a
the
hidden
like Game Boy,
wait,
isn't it, or
really?
something? When
Well,
you
I
use
never
the
heard of
net
this.
play.
What the fuck?
Well,
Yeah, there's like a
Game
Game Genie code out now where you can play the NES Tetris versus, and you get sent
Wait,
garbage when
what?
you get sent garbage when you send Tetrises and stuff. So it's like they never have really changed the multiplayer since. And there's so much you could do with the game because it is so kind of what I was getting at is so plain and static. We need to explore as a community, and there's so much creative things like Dal was saying, like you're saying with the characters that you can add to multiplayer that we just haven't ever tried. And a lot of people were turned off from trying in the past because of how TTTC handles people making Tetris games. So
Dude, they haven't taken down a Tetris game since like 2012. What are you guys fucking doing? Like,
right, and I
Someone
think
in chat-
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, who cares? Like, what happens if we take them down? They just get pissed at us, and then like, they don't even want to deal with us anymore. I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with you Michael.
Someone in
they don't
chat
care.
wanted us to discuss Cascade as a mechanic. They should, but-
let's not open that can of worms. I'm
Why not?
I'm also on
Let's-
the why not. Of course, like that's a whole separate discussion. You can just people can discuss that. You can have these sub discussions.
I think Cascade is a very interesting mode. I've played.
What is
Tetris.
Cascade?
It's when you
Like,
clear
Cascade
lines
is
and
when the
it falls
blocks
like
fall.
Poyos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
after
clear
you,
the
like-
lines and then the blocks fall.
I think didn't like
Yeah.
Tetris DS have a mode like that or something?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think
PS3
it did.
Tetris had it. Did anyone play
It
that?
had push. Push was.
There's some
Wait,
games
not
with
push.
Cascade.
So you want to cascade like the same way that Puyo, like you want us to have the same.
Oh no, it's like
Puyo?
when you clear a line and then the blocks that were above it cascade.
Yeah.
So like
Oh,
you can basically clear
Oh.
like 20 lines at the same time because you just cascade everything. Or not
oh my
20,
god,
but,
that
like,
would be
yeah.
so much layering.
Well, okay.
I don't know if that's beneficial for a game like this though.
Well,
I
anyways,
think it
See,
had a
this is
lot
why
of
it's a
depth.
can of worms. This is why,
Right.
like,
well, this
Yeah,
can of
like,
worms,
I'm like, wait. I mean, there's potential, but I'm like, this seems kind of gimmicky too.
but this
I
can
mean,
of
I
worms
don't
like
see
segues
how-
into the character design thing that we're kind of
It's a
talking
I
about.
mean,
Different
I
can of
guess that's
worms
something
and
to
all
explore more. Like, I'd like to play an actual, like a shippable version of cascading.
yo,
Tetris.
Cascade.
Yeah.
Cascade. There's a game. It
There's
really is-
multiple
when-
games.
Yeah, there's multiple games with Cascade Tetris.
Oh, interesting.
There is official games with Cascade Tetris.
Well, how do you guys? Okay, I mean, we're not opening this can of worms, right? So-
Yeah.
Okay,
It'll
all
stay
right.
closed for another time. Okay. Like.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I think this
Okay.
segues into the whole character discussion, and I think one reason I think it's a good
Yeah,
idea.
before that, I just go on a quick washroom break.
Yeah,
I've been
do it.
sipping on
Do
tea
it.
for an hour now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
do the same.
Alright.
You guys can, just do the discussion. I'll jump back.
You know what? Let's yeah, I guess we could still talk about it.
All right, yo, Blizz is gone. Blizz is gone. Everyone start talking shit.
Blizz, dude,
I
Blizz
mean, I
sucks.
guess where Blitz is gone, you can. I was gonna say maybe like start introducing what you're thinking about with characters because there's
Oh,
kind of
okay,
a lot
yeah.
to talk about.
No, Blizz needs to be here for that. 'Cause,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
Otherwise, he's gonna be completely lost.
Here, I have a solution. Let's go through some of the random questions in the Discord real quick. How about that?
Oh wait,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
there's
that's
channel
actually
for
a good
that,
solution.
Right. I wanted to talk shit about Microblizz.
We can do both.
No.
Okay, let's go with this question. How much clout do you need to be featured on Block Talk? is Microblizz, should he be featured on Block Talk in general? That's the question. I don't know if anyone has an answer. Oh, people are asking questions now that I brought it up.
Enough clout for Sin to want you to play. Oh, this is a good one. Oh wait, is this old? What's today? Oh, it is old, but it's a good question. Why do you like Tetris?
Why do you like
Because I
Tetris?
think that's actually really important. If we want to change the mechanics, the first thing we should start off with is why do we even like this game? Why do we even play this game?
Dude, I hate this game. I'm being tortured. I'm pulled here against my will.
Garbo
I
does
want to
say he
be
has to
playing
game
League
a
of
lot.
Legends.
Then play League of Legends.
I'm tied down. I'm chained. Okay,
know.
for real though, I mean Tetris is cool. Like, there's things that you can do with Tetris that like, or Tetris is like very different from other games, I guess. Like there's, the way. How do I describe this? Fuck, I don't.
You need to
describe
talk. You
this
need
in a
to
way
type.
that's, like,
You need to talk like Microblizz to describe it. You know?
I was gonna say, like, I wanna avoid being like a like very conceptual like Microblizz kind of.
You know,
talker.
Tetris is kind of like a ballet dance between you and.
What's wrong with being conceptual?
I don't know, cause like it makes you sound like, I don't know, like a Rick and Morty viewer or some shit. Like,
Dude, Rick and Morty's a good show.
Welcome back, Blizz. So we can.
this explains a lot.
So Garbo
man.
can kick off the character discussion, I suppose.
All right. So, anyways, characters was actually something that I had in my mind for a while, right? But OSK came to that, like, conclusion on his own, right? So I didn't tell him like, hey, OSK, let's make characters, right? So he on Discord he's like, yo, I've been thinking about characters, right? And I've been thinking about like having different kind of like rules and play styles for different characters. And I'm like, yo, bet. And so now we have an arrangement where I'm doing some character design stuff. And I'm working on a character system. So I can release some of the information on it right now. Just because there's nothing that's like being kept low key. I can pretty much talk about whatever. And I have been having pretty extensive meta discussions on 4Wide about the kind of impact that these kinds of changes would have and what should be done. And so there's actually a Google Doc of it, and I think Shen, you should.
Oh, should I pull it up? Oh, you can send it to me. if you want.
Yeah, I'll send it. Hold on one second. So, keep in mind that this document was actually not made to be read by other people. It was made to make sense for me and me only.
Okay. If I see
But
any typos, I'll correct them.
Anyways, so right there, I have
Okay.
some character concepts. So first I need to go over like what the character system even like means, right? So it's kind of like you can switch characters in between rounds, and so each character has their own distinct playstyle. And so what I did was I basically broke down I broke down every single kind of like technique and every way of doing things in Tetris, and I started like trying to turn each like set of them into a character, and then making things that will forward this playstyle, right? And so that's kind of the idea behind it. And I know that sounds a bit conceptual, so we'll go into some real examples now, right? So if you could pull that up really quick.
Yeah, I got it.
Cool.
Hold on, let me try to get it to
Alright,
fit a
it
little
is
better.
a bit screwed. Yeah. Kind of messy too.
Let's see.
Okay, can you explain what passive and active means?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
assuming-
what I was gonna do. So,
Oh, there we go. There we go.
passive basically means that it's kind of it's the rules for your game, right? So every character operates under slightly different rules, and so a passive is just something that's active throughout the entire time. So, anyways,
Kind of reminds me of League.
Yeah,
yeah, like League.
And
passive.
an active is just an activatable ability. So every character has one of them, right? And it charges by some condition based on the character. So you can see here that let's look at the first character on the list. So what I did for this was I basically looked at the style. This is a slightly dead style right now, right? But the style that people would downstack in when playing block box, because it was kind of different, right? Since there wasn't combo.
It was
in that
extremely
game.
different. It was so Tetris heavy.
Yeah, so it was very like double, triple Tetris kind of thing, right? Like you wouldn't want to clear single garbage lines. So the concept that I made was a character that uses block box downstacking as a primary attack and defense. And so the passive would be something to do with mixed clears. And again, I don't have numbers down. These are all like concepts, right? But bonus to clearing color and garbage in the same clear. And it would send some kind of cheese, right? And so the active charges by 7 mixed clears, and it sends 6 clean lines, right? So it sounds pretty simple, right? But there's a lot of thought that went behind this, I guess. So
What do the mixed clears mean again?
mixed clears is clearing color and garbage at the same time, right? Because if you think about block box downstacking, you're clearing both garbage and your upstack.
Okay, so
line
color
at
being
the
like
same
your
time.
upstack. Okay.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that just downstacking normally? I mean, in general, if you're trying to be efficient, you're always going to be clearing garbage as long as you have it.
Not really, no, because there's no combo in this. So.
Yeah, but if you have garbage, you downstack.
No. Mixed clear, so like you're clearing a line of upstack and a line of downstack at the same time.
Interesting.
You know,
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
know
like-
what you're talking about. I just,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Garbo's basically saying like if you clear at the same time garbage that was sent to you and your own self-made
Right. Yeah.
stack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the essence of block box downstacking.
So
And
active
so-
would be a skill you would
Yeah.
press.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the idea behind this is that like send 6 clean lines doesn't sound very like interesting, right? But if you think about what that entails, that means that basically if
That's
you
like a
have it
quick
ready,
spike, honestly.
yeah, if you have it ready, then your opponent can't go above row 14, right? Like, so it's a very cheese heavy class or character that you would try and cheese and put a lot of cheese on the board and try and play around the active threat of being able to send 6 clean lines like right away. So
Yeah.
this is like
Well, this is
like an
already
idea.
interesting already because I mean, if you're gonna have characters like these, then you're gonna have counterplays for like the meta's gonna
Yeah.
change between.
Matchups would
Different
be. It would really diversify the game extensively because
Yeah,
you'd have
I
so
mean,
many
also like
matchups.
just the way that people play. Well, it's gonna be really interesting with these hard rules.
I think this is a game design challenge for sure, though. There's gonna be a lot of playtesting. I feel like
Yeah.
there should be playtesting because you want to try all the different characters against
Well,
each
yeah,
other.
you don't want to ship it out and just be
Right.
like,
Have
"Here's the new
fun."
rules, guys. Fuck you.
Yo, I'm
Nope, no
going-
adjustments."
okay. I'm gonna go up to the webcam right now. I'm gonna move my face closer. Do you see these dark bags under my eyes? I have not been sleeping. I've been working on this shit, okay? Like
God, you gotta take care of yourself.
it's what's it. I've been working on that. So yeah. I'm trying my hardest to make design proper.
What's exciting
So-
about this to me too is that people like to make up characters and stuff. Like community can get behind this and discuss this further, and maybe help with future characters and stuff like that. I just think it's a cool idea because even like Dal's idea or whatever, it can be discussed. The Mino thing with a character, it can at least be discussed whether it's good or not.
Have you play tested any of these rules against each other? Like I know you said before I asked, like you have 3 that you think are solid, 5 maybe that are prepared, and like 7 that you want
Like I want
to be
8.
like
Yeah.
okay, 8, okay.
So I like since we don't have a playable version yet, right? So one of like something that OSK is gonna do is he's gonna be trying to get out like like the least minimal like playable version of this, right? Without like any of the fluff or cool looking things. Just a very
Right.
minimal version, and we'd be able to just test with it, right?
Yeah.
But for now, all I can do is think about these matchups like conceptually, right? And think about them in theory. So I can be like, okay, so if I take X character versus X character, this would be this player's objective, this would be this player's objective, this is how they would interact. And
Right.
so, Shen, could you
Yeah, that's a
scroll
lot
down?
of tweaking because I
Oh, yeah.
imagine you would want to make each character mold itself around a specific playstyle that's like, visibly whatever.
Yeah, because okay, actually, I should talk about my reasoning behind like a lot of these decisions. So one of the big things in Tetris that I see a problem with is that there's not many like super clear cut win conditions in the game, right? Because
Hmm.
your win conditions are like you win by pressure, which pretty much means you send more clean garbage than your opponent can downstack. You cheese your opponent, right? Or which again is kind of flimsy since you can't send much cheese, right? So you need a big downstack combo probably, or some like huge spike, which kind of falls under pressure. Uh, and
There's like
there,
only so many ways that you
yeah,
can actually pressure someone, is what you mean, right?
yeah.
Like,
So
I mean,
and
when you
those ways
explain
are
it
pretty
that way,
static.
a lot of these like win conditions are not very solid, and they're not very sturdy, right? So a lot of play ends up turning towards like not even caring about what's on your opponent's side, right? And not caring all too much about that.
Well, the
And so
conditions for that, I imagine, are just like whether or not it's. I mean, it's just really basic. It's almost just like, all right, can I do this right now and be safe? Or it like the only two questions you need to ask when you look over your opponent's field is, can I do this safely? And also, can I kill them?
yeah, exactly. So what I think, actually, okay, I'll finish this and I'll let you talk, Firestorm, because I've cut you off twice now. But yeah, because this links to what Microblizz said. So, if you like know your win condition and you know your opponent's win condition, and there are ways that you can deny or try and work against your opponent's win condition, then like that makes for much more interesting like back and forth and much more interesting interaction between players, right? Rather than very like binary checks like you were talking about, right? So Firestorm, what did you have to say?
I was just gonna say, like, you seem to be like trying to generate the win conditions from the game mechanics rather than the players. What I like about Tetris, the win condition, like, yes, it's just, oh, top your opponent out, win, but like it depends on who I'm playing. Like, for example, if you're playing DL, your win condition is gonna be very different than if you're playing someone against like CG or Vince. Like, the play styles create the win conditions that you have to figure out. I know.
I think like what Firestorm is trying to get at, like I think I get what he's saying. Like the way the wind conditions are right now are very open-ended, even though it doesn't seem that way, because like you only have to answer those two questions, but based on the context, it's going to be answered differently every single time. So you adjust your play based on what you see. But here, I think what happens is like you make it more transparently obvious, like you're defining it as opposed to leaving it open ended.
Yeah, if you define it right, if you define a win condition, that makes for much more interesting play in between, right? Rather than just like playing as things happen. Like I think that
I'm
there
just
has to
yeah,
be
like I'm
something
just
that-
curious, like what will happen once we actually like ship this out and try it out. Like that's my well, it's not so much a concern. Like I'm just more interested now to see if it'll work because I don't know like what it'll look like when we actually play it out, right?
I mean, I have ideas for what it'll look like, but I'm no prophet, right? I can't like I can't.
Yeah, like
predict all
my
this.
worry is like, you know, if you reduce the character into a style, then will it inadvertently in some way or another become static on its own as well? Or will the matchups be able to carry
Not really,
forward the
because there's
dynamic
different
part of it?
there's different ways you can play about like a character, even if you have the same win condition. Like even if you know the destination, the way you reach there can be different every single time, right? And so obviously I don't want every single character to be played like the exact same way, right? There needs to be expression within that. So
Yeah.
that's
So I'm
something
thinking like
need to
it'd
keep in
be
mind,
awesome
yeah.
to open it up to be flexible enough that like at the very least like 3 or 4 different ways of playing that style or that character is possible.
Yeah,
Like
but
that would
under
be my
this-
hope.
A lot of people in the chat are asking if / when this gets implemented. Obviously, it's not going to be implemented straight into Tetra League, right? It's
Well,
going to
there
be
has
like
to be testing, right? But if it is
Right.
gonna be on Tetra League, like, it'll probably be the only thing there, because you can't split it, right? you can't split it into like 2 queues. So, or especially with how the game is now. But
Or unless you
anyway.
implement like an unranked system and then a ranked system, like the unranked system where you can actually implement the characters and then leave ranked system as it is until
Oh, no,
the
the ranked
character situation is fine. Like,
Why wouldn't you be able to do 2 separate ones? Is
it
it
splits the queue
just-
too much, right? It splits the player base, and queue times will get awfully long.
because this
That
kind of
seems
reminds
more
me of
like a
like
logistical issue
PBE
than
testing.
anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if this was a game with like a ton of players, right? Then sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
we're
guess.
Tetris,
Well,
dude.
I mean, your worry is splitting the player base, so you want to centralize it around like what we're trying to test right now.
Yeah, because if we centralize, we can't keep on like half-assing things, right? Like,
Hmm.
I think that if you make something the main focus, right? If you force it as the main focus, then everyone will have to learn it, right? And will develop the
Right.
meta faster. And when you develop the meta faster, you'll get more data, and you'll be able to tell whether this is something good or something bad, right?
Yeah,
But without
I agree
that,
with that.
like you
Mhm.
wouldn't know. So you need to force it on people. I think I'm a huge believer in forcing it on people, right? Like,
Yeah, I like dictatorships too.
yeah.
I mean, in the end, this
don't
Yeah,
is-
but I mean, this is
forcing it on
basically like
people to-
Nintendo's game design too, like where they're like, yeah, well, we see your suggestions, but we don't care about them. You're playing it this way,
I mean, that's
You're
kind of
going
like
to play it this
TTC
way.
anyways.
and you're going to like it too.
Well, it's not that you're gonna like it, right? But if you don't like it, like then you can say something, right? And then like
Yeah,
this
I
can be
mean,
taken
I
into
think it's more
consideration.
like play it our way or don't play it at all. Go home.
I mean, in the end, this is OSK's game. Like, it's his game, and it's what he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, he brought the
I
characters
mean,
up to
yeah,
you. So
I'm just sharing my beliefs, right? But let's get back to characters. Okay, so there's actually what I think is like my absolute masterpiece. It's the cancel a lot of garbage style of games
Okay.
character right there.
got it pulled up.
That one.
Have you ever
So-
played like an iteration of Tetris Friends before? Like that was like you've played games with cancel. Oh wait, just cancels. Never mind.
Yeah. You're trolling. Okay.
I
But-
don't get how this is different from E++ as well, or E+.
This okay, so this character is like my absolute masterpiece. This is like by far the best the best design character. So the concept cancel a lot of garbage style out games. And so your
God,
passive
this is gonna be so fucking annoying.
your passive is you have a temporary shield until placing a non-clear line, and it sends at the end. So what does this mean? Because this isn't like just TF blocking or something, right? So
I mean, is it the same thing as like playing against Poyo where it doesn't send until you don't clear a line?
similar to that, yeah.
Okay.
So when you clear, yeah, until you place a non-clear line, it won't send basically, and so it'll accumulate as a shield, and anything that hits it will just like break off that. And once you place a block, that doesn't clear, it'll send. So that's the idea behind the passive, right? And it doesn't sound like much there, but the active is if you don't receive okay, so it charges by blocking 10 lines, expressly using that shield. So if it comes onto your board and you cancel it, it doesn't count. And if you don't receive garbage for 10 seconds after activation, you send 3 unclearable lines to your opponent. So
Wow.
Wait, 10 seconds? Still
seconds.
blocking 10 lines or 10 seconds?
10 seconds.
Okay, so what's the 10 lines?
Yeah,
It's-
that
it's what you
seems
charge
pretty
by.
reasonable. I mean, it's not overpowered and it's also not underpowered.
No. But you're okay. Here's the cool shit with this character. All right. Here's the cool shit. So, if you think about spiking, you take like T-spin doubles and Tetrises, right? And like maybe some extra lines because there's no combo right now, right? Because I'm still considering how to do combo. But let's say just how you would normally spike. Let's take like an STSD, right? Just a common spike. So 2 T-spin doubles. But with this system, right? Now, if you got a shield for that, so I'd be imagining you would activate it, and then take 2 T-spin doubles, right? And now you'd have a 9-line shield. So
Oh.
You can block 9 lines, right? And so if your opponent can't get past those 9 lines in the remaining time, you win. So you can just sit there and you can wait, right? So
Wait,
it really
that sounds
becomes...
really dumb.
This character is gonna be the most annoying. Like, if you
Yes.
play this really well, this could be one of the most annoying and soul crushing characters in the
But
game.
there's counterplay against
You're,
it, right?
you're taking this to hurry. Like, their win condition is to take it to hurry up and for their board to fill up. That's so fucking troll.
It's the hurry up.
Not really.
character.
No. It's not.
You
It's
just-
not like that. Cause when you
You infinite TST,
Can you win early games with this character? Like, my question is, you have these passive and active rules. Like, the rest of the game's garbage distribution is the same, right?
yeah,
Okay.
for now. So, like, when you look at
So just to clarify, are there there's cooldowns for this stuff, right? The active.
well, it's charge, right? So charge by blocking 10 lines. So like,
Okay.
if you think about even the act of blocking 10 lines, it's pretty hard to do, right? Because
Yeah.
imagine you sit there with your shield up and your opponent just upstacks. Like, they don't send you anything. So
Yeah.
if your opponent is screen watching, and if you're getting like watched hard, dude, like this is it's not as annoying as it sounds because there's a ton of counterplay.
Yeah, I
There's
mean, it
a lot
doesn't
of
sound
like,
so OP anymore now. Now that you told me, like, you have to charge these active moves, like that
Yeah,
active
yeah.
move is fucking bullshit if you can do it all the time.
No. See, look at the active. So I said this first, like charge by blocking 10 lines, right? So in order to get 3 unclearable lines, first you have to block 10 lines, and then you have to not receive garbage for 10 seconds. So that's a tall
Actually,
order.
oh
right?
shit! Actually, if you're blocking like a big spike, though, 10 lines isn't that difficult to block.
Yeah. It's more the 10 seconds that's difficult.
Yeah.
And even then, right? Like, if you turtle for 10 seconds.
I really
right?
can't imagine like a scenario where this character will like get any kind of an advantage with the active.
Well, you can get if you do like a C spin, right?
The conditions
Like a
are like
TS
so you not only have to charge it by blocking 10 lines, but you have to wait for 10 seconds of not receiving garbage. Holy shit, this is like just this is not a good character to me at all.
I think
it
the
synergizes
biggest
with
problem-
the shield, right? So think about it this way, right? So if your opponent just exhausted their clears, right? And you tank their spike, right? So now they have no attacks on their board. And you set up a C spin, so that would be like a T spin triple into a T spin double. So that's like what?
Okay, so
11
there's
lines, right?
so there's interplay between the passive and the active then.
Yeah. So
Wait,
11
hold
lines,
on.
right?
Temporary. Yeah, let me just like read the passive again. Temporary shield upon placing a non-clear line.
Until placing a non-clear line.
Until placing a non-clear
so
line sends
your
at end.
opponent would have if you set the board up perfectly, your opponent would have to, from an empty board where they just exhausted their sends, would have to outsend 11 lines, right? So
Oh man, now I'm
they're
thinking this
setting
can
up right.
actually be kind of annoying because if you just build up a 4-wide, wouldn't that basically be a temporary shield?
but there
That's
is
what I'm
combos.
saying. Like, if
There
you
is combos.
full or infinite TST,
Yeah, couldn't you just stall infinitely and just keep giving them 3 unclearable lines every 10 seconds?
No, because if the garbage, it has to be blocked, right? So if it's in your queue, it doesn't count, right?
Okay.
So it has to be completely blocked by the shield.
Oh.
Right? So it's a pretty hard condition.
I feel like part of the problem I would see with this condition, depending on your APM / your skill range, I feel like this could either be broken, balanced, or like broken as in it's terrible. Like
It's a very screen watch heavy thing, right?
the blocking 10 lines, that depending on who you're playing against, I mean, I don't know.
That might not even become a possibility. Well, I mean, if it doesn't become a possibility, then the opponent probably wouldn't be much of a problem then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Firestorm? Like, if you don't
Yeah.
even need to block 10 lines, they don't have the capacity to kill you. You have to send lines to win, right? Unless
Yeah,
you know
but
they're
like,
waiting for you to make
let's say
mistakes.
this push. Is it like? Actually, wait. Is it you block 10 lines and those like it counters like I block someone sends a T-spin, I block it. It's at 5, or is it like you have to block 10 lines at once?
No, not at once. So no, not at once.
Oh, okay. Wait, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you
like
had to block 10 lines.
I'd be interested to like play test this stuff because I mean, you know, it seems pretty solid right now. I'm just like wondering what the interplay would be between this. Like, what would happen if, for instance, a player like 2 players chooses this character? I'm
That
kind
would
of
be
curious about
interesting.
that too.
Yeah. Well, then it becomes a game of like almost chicken, right? Because I've thought about this. I've done testing with the match.
Yeah, I almost feel like this style would probably be like QMK and me playing, basically. Like that's kind of how it would look, I guess. If we
Because you would
tried
have
out this
to-
character against each other.
You would have to try and stagger your actives, right? Because if you both activate it at the same time, you're just both eating like 3 lines, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to try and stagger, and it would become kind of
I think this would hurt my brain.
a battle of attrition almost. Where
Yeah.
you're like playing mind games. You're trying to predict your opponent and stuff, which isn't necessarily bad. Maybe it's not like high octane, but I don't think everything needs to be high octane, right?
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
I mean, I should hope
Yeah.
it doesn't, because man,
It's the
high
same as
octane
ever.
is so much work to me.
But yeah, anyways, let's think about though. So you asked about character matchups. So I'm gonna suggest the 2 characters that we've talked about, right? So the block box downstacking character and this character, right?
Yeah.
And the shield character. So let's just do some very I guess uneducated but like theoretical kind of experiments, right? So if these 2 characters went against each other, so here's what would happen, okay? Or here's kind of how the matchup would work. So the win condition for the block box downstacking character would be fill the board with cheese, use active to spike, right? Shield character obviously wants to get those unclearable lines. But the thing is that with the block box downstacking characters active, they can send 6 lines right away, right? So that's in conflict with a shield character, right? Because you can there's so much more attacking power. You can break through that easy, and they won't get their unclearable lines. But on the other hand, the block box downstacking character needs garbage to function properly. So it would be almost like trying to force the shield character into a downstack that would make them send, if that makes sense. I don't know. This is like how it's going in my head, right? But there's play and there's ways that you can play around your opponent's win condition. And if they're using their active on trying to wait to cancel the unclearable lines, right? Then they're not having that to top their opponent out, so they lose their win condition. Does that make sense? It's like it's kind of convoluted, but there is kind of interesting play between the actives and the win conditions, which you don't have if the win conditions are very flexible and very like open-ended.
Yeah, it's cool. I certainly think. I mean, we can theorize about this all day, but playtesting will exponentially give us a better idea of how this works.
That's
it's
why
fun
I
to
said
theorize.
it's uneducated.
I definitely think it's good to you have your concept, your passive, active. It's good to have a streamline, in my opinion. Then you can kind of gauge how they play against each other in playtest. And obviously, you kind of are creating characters thinking about how they'll play against other characters, which is good. But playtesting will substantially give us a better idea of how this works, and I'm sure there are going to be changes to be made. I'm sure. So. It's cool.
Yeah, I kind of rambled, honestly. I don't know.
No, it's all good, man. I mean,
I'm listening.
Yeah, it looks good so far. I just really want to try. Man, if you had a shippable version right now, I would play that with Firestorm just to see.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. I mean, I think with a character system, you can constantly be adding more to the game and do some shifts to overpowered characters and stuff. So it wouldn't be the game wouldn't be stale. So I'm all for it, and I see chat. There is a lot of backlash against people having this implemented.
Is there? Like, okay, I mean, how many of these people are actually just wondering if it's gonna be good, or if like they're just like, yeah, no, fuck the system.
I think we need to try it.
Or I think people just don't really like change as much. But how do you evolve?
It's just okay. Like my thinking on this, guys, is if you are ambivalent about the new system, like keep in mind this is not permanent. I think right now how we have it set up, especially with like OSK in the chat right now, we have a valuable resource to like at least try. And one of the things that I've been discussing with these boys here was the fact that like the meta hasn't changed, the mechanics haven't changed in so long. And in fact, like in a previous discussion, I was talking with Garbo, is like he doesn't actually think like there was actually. Do you guys think, for example, when they mapped out these rules, they anticipated it would be played to this extreme? Do you think there was like
no, they had
probably no.
Yeah, like this is what I'm going to do. And I mean, like, just think about this. Back in 2011, they didn't even think that people would eventually play with 4-wides. They didn't think 4-wides or that combo table could be exploitable. That was like just a meme for them. They were like, yeah, probably no one's going to get to 19.
It is kind of cool. I'm sure whoever designed it, like, oh, that's pretty cool. But they had no idea what was about to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we were talking about this, like, how freaking complacent did we get that we optimized the system that they made for us and just like, fuck it, yeah, this is what we're gonna play with.
You remember when no
questions asked?
Yeah, exactly, dude. They like, I don't know, man. They had like no thought. They probably, I make this joke like sometimes that there's probably only like one person on the team that knew how to T-spin, and they like knew how to ST stack, right? And so like this person would be like the resident T-spin expert, and they'd consult them. They're like, hey, how many lines do you think this should send? They're like, I think like maybe like 4. 5 in some cases.
Like, I don't know how many of you guys like go back and look at the first Tetris tournament online that we had, but in the grand finals, I think we actually had like Hank Rogers commentating. He didn't know jack shit about what the hell he was saying.
I remember that tournament.
Like Tetris here, and then like I think it was like J-Mac in co-commentary with him.
J-Mac
like,
wasn't
like,
so bad. But...
It's kind of like Millen.
Yeah, he wasn't bad, but I don't think he really, like he wasn't a top level player.
He wasn't. He just wasn't
able. I think commentary was very fresh.
He was at least somewhat informed.
Yeah, so it wasn't so informed. These people aren't like Tetris experts in terms of like the garbage distribution game design.
I mean, the game's evolved, and we can evolve
so much time with the game, do you guys not see? If you guys don't see an issue, like, I mean, we've been working at this for so long. So if it's not the mechanics that's the issue, then it's a marketing problem. What are we doing wrong in that sense? If it's not the game,
I mean,
that we need to...
I don't know. I think everything is going a bit wrong, at least.
To be honest.
Well, this is just like me playing devil's advocate to like the people who object to change. Like, what's the problem if not the mechanics? I mean, like this, I think is one of the first issues that we need to deal with, because we've had great tournaments in the past. We've explored different tournament formats, different ways of going about it. Like we've incorporating a betting system. Nothing's long lasting though. So what's the issue here?
I mean, okay, let's say theoretically you change the characters. That's not, it might get some more people in the game, but it's still the issue of no one really sees this. Like I do think at top level it can get stale, but in all honesty, just no one is seeing this.
Sorry,
game.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean
like the visibility of the game, like the marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a totally different problem in and of itself. But I think have a good game before you before you branch off.
Also, the better.
I still get like already, the exploration is fine, the backlash is fine, but the key here is to be able to defend your position. Like even in any decision in Tetris that you make, you have to be able to defend it with like an idea, like what's it leading towards. As long as we have everything like thought out and fleshed out, if it's a system that actually works, the people who deny it, the people who don't want to adopt it, they're just going to get left behind. That's my thinking on this. And like, I do think visually the issue is very transparent. Like, I don't know how many of you guys can actually even be able to devolve the, like to analyze the style, like what they're going about in terms of like how they solve issues, like how they go about it. I don't think that's visible. And I think this is actually like a decent way of making it more visible. At least like the game plan is more visible with like hard rules set for them and win conditions.
I mean, but the thing is, if we're talking about visibility for normies, like I just no one's gonna know what the characters
do you think it's a better
Well, that's the job of
experience
the
for
commentary,
normies
right?
to keep it open ended? Because
I mean,
the
but
more
the
open ended
commentators
it
already
is, the more
struggle
they're
to
gonna
keep
have to
up with
understand
the
to be able to see. But you place it, you bottle it up the style in a character, and they're immediately able to understand. Like the way that you have it set up here, actually, like it's pretty nice. You got their weaknesses, strengths, passive and active, win conditions, like all of that is defined perfectly for you. Doesn't that seem good to you? Like I think it's like a paradox, which is interesting because the more open-ended we keep the game in terms of the mechanics, the more closed it becomes. Like the less innovation there is.
Yeah.
That's the idea I'm capturing right now. Like the current system, in my opinion, it's not working right now. We've been at work with this for like 10 years and we haven't tried or done shit with it. So I'm thinking like at the very least we should explore.
Yeah.
It can't hurt to
I think
try,
that
in my opinion.
Also,
I mean,
what's it? Like, I don't think that these changes are only for the top players too, right? Like this is also like pretty good for the lower level players in like I was reading chat and OSK brings up a good point. I know it's a sin to read chat in a podcast, but
yeah. Well, this is something
like,
curious about
right?
these characters. Like when you were mapping out these characters conceptually and in terms of the rule set, like were you catering towards a specific group?
There were groups that I had more in mind than others. The group I was actually targeting was like if I were to put it in Tet.rio ranks, like around S+ to like X rank ish.
Okay,
like,
so around like mid-level players, kind of.
Mid to high level.
you're saying you were targeting
so.
targeting a level with the character design? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And then obviously I didn't like completely ignore everything else. But if you look at like a C rank player, right? Like they struggle to even like stack blocks in a way that they can like sustainably clear down and not die, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
well, I'm just curious. Well, I was just curious about that because I don't know if like I don't know who we should be trying to target, because a point that you were saying before was like I became a coach on the Underdogs lounge server, whatever, specifically because I wanted to mobilize the lower to mid-level players. But you brought up a good point. If we were to help them and coach them, they're just going to compound on the issue initially, which was that we have high-level players that nobody can understand. Nobody can get to.
I don't think that was the point I was trying to make. I'm not saying that. Yeah, no. My point was not that like we shouldn't make players better because they're gonna turn into soulless robots. Like I'm not that wasn't my point, dude.
Right. Just that it didn't solve the problem that we were discussing.
But it's,
at that point.
Yeah, my point was that it doesn't like solve the problem.
Right.
Like,
right.
Because I've taught a lot of people like Tetris, right? That's kind of the thing that I do. But like, I don't know. At a certain point, it's like I don't want to be like bringing people up to like to nothing. I want there to be like a good high level to like work towards, right? I want there to be like I want the game to be good. You know what I mean? And honestly, as I continue like playing Tetris more and as I continue like thinking more about it, exploring things, like trying to figure out how we can make this game successful, because this is something I'm highly invested in, right? It's like I start to get the feeling that Tetris itself, like there's a lot that can be fixed, and as it stands right now, I would actually legitimately call it a bad game, like with the rules. And don't get me wrong now, okay? Don't get me wrong. I like Tetris in and of itself, okay? So, because why the fuck else? Like, if I didn't like it, why would I be here, right? But like the idea of the blocks and the lines clearing and stuff like that, and even versus where you send garbage to each other, those are things that I like, right? Those are things that I like. But the rules that are being set around it are so like dry and they're not being innovated on enough. And it's like that's where I see the problem, right?
Yeah.
So as a game, it's bad. As a concept, it's good. You know what I mean?
I agree with you 100%. I think every time I usually complained about Tetris, like people have been making Tetris clones forever, and every time I complain about a Tetris clone, it's usually not the concept; it's usually the game itself. Like, I used to call No Palomino a bad game when I played it all the time, but I thought like it could have still been so much better and innovated on. Kind of egging on what you're saying, but
Yeah. So okay, there's a number of things that I want to discuss like from this point that you brought up, but like this is something that I've thought of in the past, and I mean a lot of times it just like stumped me about Tetris, and I did have the thought like maybe it's just not a good game because the way that I see it, I don't think of it as like a tier one, like it the state that it's in right now, I don't think it's like a tier 1 esport or even like a tier 2. It has no place in esports from what I can see.
In the entire esports world, let's not talk about tiers. Let's talk about the entry door. Like
yeah, like we are like we have like no foundation. We have no vantage point to enter it from. And one of my biggest worries was that is it just simply that Tetris doesn't have enough sex appeal? You know, there's nothing to like latch onto with Tetris.
Yeah,
like we talked about like what it was missing.
But
in my opinion, it's like the lore, the characters.
that's a whole different discussion, though. We're talking about the gameplay right now.
Right?
But,
yeah, I know. But I mean, still, that's something to think about.
Yeah, Tetris waifus, dude. No, actually, hold on. Let me bring something up. Yo. Wait. Hold on, because someone actually took like the shield character and drew it and sent it on my Discord.
I saw that. It was funny.
It's actually pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, I saw them like as soon as I started talking shit about them, they're like, "What the fuck you saying about my shield, John?" I was like, "Whoa,
it's already happened.
Fuck? This character hasn't even been released yet."
Okay, hold on. It was like just a sketch. Wait. Let me find this.
Is there any other characters you want to talk about here?
I mean, not really. It just in the interest of time, right? Because I could go on and on about.
Yeah, we talked about the shield guy for quite a while. I mean, I think that's part of the draw too. It's just interesting. The whole idea of creating characters that have an outer layer of mechanics that you can build upon. So
yeah, and cool. This is something that I discussed with QMK. Like in terms of like incorporating the characters, how much of the core game are we going to eventually change, or if at all? Like what works with Tetris and what is it missing? Basically, was the question that was put up in the air.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting these images.
I got the link.
Okay, yeah. One thing at a time. Oh shit, this is actually a pretty good drawing. Who made this?
It was one of Or's in chat. It was a friend of his.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, I like that drawing.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't know if like a shield character would be a T piece though. I'd probably make it an O piece.
Well, I mean,
really?
it's T piece styled, but yeah. Anyways,
I think
and there's another style of it too.
If you're trying to block lines.
Yeah, you're blocking with T spins, so.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! You can make this into an emote.
These actually look really good.
There's the other one too. Show the other one. The one I said.
I feel like she should have more armor or something. If we're gonna be real. I guess she can wear a skirt. Skirts are defensive, I suppose. All right.
But yeah.
Oh, I just opened Dolphin. Whoops.
Was it? Hold on. Pause cam.
It's huge on my app.
Yeah, the other one. Hold on. Yeah, zoom it out.
All right.
So yeah, this is just like the kind of chibi form of it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I guess the idea of characters also opens up some creativity just with the character itself. So,
Yeah.
Like make a backstory for it. Like these.
I mean, I don't know. I'm no writer, okay? Like that would have to be someone else's job.
All right.
I wanna make
Anybody in the
something.
chat who's like, in university for literature or some shit, this is your opportunity. Like, put in your submissions
Like
to
I
be in
don't
the
think
next Tetris game.
like if I were the one to make a story, like that would be a shit show really fast. I don't know if you guys want to like to rely on me for that.
You could even like make, I don't know, like a comic book about it. Like,
This is thinking too forward, okay?
No, but
I know. I'm
Come
just
back
like,
to Earth, Blizz.
shitting out ideas. Basically, this is not anything concrete.
it opens up fun
Dude,
ideas.
I'd love to see a Tetris manga.
Oh yeah, right there, large onion in chat. This is her drawing. So those two were
I
both
like
hers.
it.
Actually, did you guys see the Tetris manga cover? Did you guys see the Tetris manga thing?
I've seen it.
The one that you made.
I wasn't the one who made it. It was Theo who
The
made
one
it.
with Wumbo and
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Well, like, we should show everyone that.
we can do it
But,
real quick. Last one.
There aren't a lot of like artistically inclined people in Tetris, so like.
I think there are. It's just, I don't know, like what we used to have Risa, for example. Risa used to do like the artwork for everything.
Oh yeah.
Also,
It's like, I don't want to do that shit
Oh,
anymore.
I remember Virulent, her sister. It was really
Right? Yeah.
good. She
We
became
had
an animator.
artistically inclined people before, but for some reason we keep scaring everyone off. Like, we're just like the most awful in terms of like retention of the best people.
Yeah, I agree with
It's the
that.
smart people who realize that this is like a sinking ship.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how much you look into like some of the initiatives in the past, but I was like thinking Parks are like Firestorm. I think you mentioned this. Parks are actually had some great ideas before. It's just I don't
Yeah,
know,
dude. Also was doing walk.
dude. Was it just like Tetris wasn't ready for that shit, or just it wasn't good enough for what he was offering?
Tetris Twins was too bad of a game. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm just
Yo,
like,
look at that
the
manga
guy's like
art.
with Tempo Storm now. Like that's he clearly had good vision.
I just wanted to zoom in on Wumbo real quick. Oh,
Sure.
Right there.
Oh my god. Yo,
It's
he's
perfect,
looking
right?
gone. Oh my god.
is that you, Garbo? Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
what picture did he even use to like draw that?
Wasn't that like an actual
Whoa.
LAN event or something?
Yeah, like a IRL tournament. That's Amamiya. The Amamiya one is so fucking good, dude. I love it.
I like Blink.
Yo, you're looking like
I'm a
Garbo.
man.
You're looking like a Ronin samurai in this one.
I look like I've aged too much. Like,
Yeah, the wrinkles, right? Like I'm like, what
Wait,
picture
which
did
one's
this guy
supposed to
use?
be Garbo?
Dude, all these guys look like Japanese gangsters, like Yakuza.
look at Blink, dude. Blink is so fucking good.
It's creepy back there.
Who's that guy like on the side, on the left side, popping
Oh.
in?
That's Matt, the creator of Tetris.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
He played
Like, he was
yesterday.
relevant when this was made, but
He
he's
played
kind
in the
of like
tournament yesterday
disappeared
out of
now.
nowhere. Yeah, that's always. I would love to see more of these personally. Whoever drew it, like, are they still in the community? Who drew this?
Yeah, yo, okay. Were you there for when I streamed making pizza?
I wasn't personally, no.
Okay. Well, they were the one who gave me the recipe for it. So yeah.
We should have a WPL cook-off, man. You versus
Dude, I'd be down.
you want to go against Garbo?
Ban Firestorm. Ban Firestorm. He actually knows shit.
Wait, I don't have a kitchen here. What the heck? Never mind, I can't do it.
All right.
I'm a pretty good
I have
cook.
the advantage of
Yeah,
having a
it's
kitchen.
game on.
Now it's fair.
Dude, there's nothing to cook here. There's like
I would have so
no
much
wildlife.
fun hosting
it's
that.
It's actually crazy.
And my brother, he's a head chef at a restaurant, Shinola Hotel up in Detroit.
Oh shit, dude.
Oh, that's
have him
dope.
judge. We'll
Right,
put him
I was
through the
saying I can get my
torture.
brother. We can judge, and he could like Gordon Ramsay your asses. That'd be great.
Just make sure to make Garbo last seed.
All right, where are you at now? we have anything else to talk about? Q&A? Are we gonna end this?
Q&A? Do we have time for Q&A?
Are you
Yo,
just not
Firestorm
trying to
got
talk
eat,
about
right?
the pizza question? Is that what's happening?
I mean, my reservation was like 15 minutes ago, so it's fine.
Oh shit.
Are you
okay.
sure?
Well,
Wait, how much time do you have to eat dinner? Like, what's the reservation for? Like, you don't have to make it on time, right?
It's 45 minutes. We're fine. I can
Oh
eat
my
fast.
god. How far away is the calf?
Oh, like 3-minute walk.
Damn. Okay, I mean that's not too bad at least. You can rush.
This is better than food. Let's just keep going with this. I'm into
All right.
it.
Wow.
Well, you know,
What a
your
passionate
choice. Yeah, if
player.
you gotta leave, we can still do Q&A, but
I mean, I
let's
kind
just
of have a bit of a
how
question.
many Q&As do we have?
Go ahead,
there's a
Delicious.
It was like, I was thinking like, how far can we actually take Tetris before we get sued by TTC?
Yeah,
That's because I'm thinking that we are going to reach a point where, like, even if we try to expose Tet.rio or Gestress or, you know, any like
This is my
non-official
thinking. Like, we're
Tetris
so
company.
insignificant and small right now. They're like, yeah, whatever. They can do whatever.
yo, ask Judman for legal funds, dude.
Praise
Okay.
Judman.
That's a little fall.
Okay, wait.
What questions are
Can I
there?
start reading off Q&A stuff?
Here, I'm pulling it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
yeah.
Just go for it because Firestorm is probably gonna starve tonight.
All right. By
Otherwise,
the way, any character-related questions, ask me directly. Don't ask them here, right? Because
Won't take
I
too
mean,
long.
there's a lot of stuff. I wouldn't want to be just
Here,
answering.
I think
character questions all
Microblizz
day.
suggested last time. We can all let's just all handpick one question, okay? Let's do that. I like
Should
that
we
idea.
ban
yeah.
analogies?
I like how the pizza is censored.
ban analogies. I feel personally attacked.
Uh,
I mean,
There's really
it's just
no good question.
I like the
I
analogies.
get like it makes it a less personal experience, but analogies help me bottle up everything nicely.
yeah, it's kind of
I
like a
think
dance, you
analogies
know?
are good.
How else am I supposed to describe it? I mean, you guys don't understand. If you did, you would just play well.
You know, it's kind of like a communication of two players' souls, you know, where they just like.
Well, I mean, all I meant in that regard is that it's the culmination of experience in the game. That's all it means. Like, you can like bottle it up in anything you want.
Dude,
Might
none of
sound
these
ridiculous
questions are
to me. It
about
makes sense to
Tetris.
me.
I mean, Days asked sort of decent question.
These were good, yeah.
All right, so I guess my
So
question.
Tetris is getting a however you say the network's getting a forces mode for the Tetris mobile.
Oh.
Wait.
Hmm.
Wait, is that a
apparently-
question? Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
saw
think
that, I
think
saw
that's
that.
just basically Tetris 99, but on
Well,
mobile, but with
it's
a
like
few
a
extra
little bit
things.
scuffed. You'll have to like check it out yourself. I saw a video of it, like a preview video of it from TTC, and it's like, I don't know, man. It looks a bit scuffed. I'm not gonna lie, but let's save that. Let's save that for another time, because that's
I
like,
like the
a
concept.
topic. It's like a topic,
That's
right?
true.
Hmm.
Is
Yeah,
this
you're right.
is this
You
pizza
could-
Garbo?
Yeah.
Or anybody? I guess. It looks like
Oh,
it looks
wouldn't
like deep dish
WPL on
pizza.
Tetris? That's my question.
Dal, does this
Wait,
look
what?
like pizza
Sorry,
to
what'd
you?
you say?
So-
Firestorm?
Does that look like
My
pizza
one
to me?
question is,
Oh,
when's
pizza?
WPL gonna be on Tetris?
Kind of looks like cheese on toast with tomato sauce on it.
Dude, what the fuck, man?
Oh wait, is that
I mean,
supposed to be your pizza?
Did you let it like proof and stuff? Or
Oh
Did you
God!
let
Ew.
Why does it look like that?
All right,
Yeah, it's a
listen,
bit-
listen. Making pizza is like a fucking dance. Shut up.
Yeah, sure.
I thought that was a joke. I didn't
If that's
know
what
that
you
was
think, that's probably what went wrong with the pizza. If you think it's a dance, Jesus. I mean, even the tomato sauce looks off, dude. Like, why is it that red? And why is it on the
Garbo,
outside?
I'll give you
It's supposed to
coaching
be
on how to
top.
cook pizza.
Holy.
What did you do?
It's a lot of sauce.
Holy
Is it a lot of sauce or is it just there's no cheese on top?
I think it's
That's just a very unflattering picture.
I don't even think the dough is cooked
Okay,
properly,
well,
is it?
if you have a flattering picture, you should have given that one. Like, do you have one?
That's on Egu, not me.
I
All
mean,
right.
my roommate
Oh.
said he'd eat it, but you got one person who'd eat it.
Yeah, who can make the fastest
Yo,
pizza? The new
Dazer
40
said he would
line.
eat it, dude. Dazer said he would eat it. That's
Taser will eat
Hazel,
anything.
why? I'll make you a good pizza. You're closer to me. You're closer to me, and I'll make a better one. Don't eat that pizza.
Oh
Don't
my
fly
God.
all the way.
Daisy,
to
Damn.
there's
Canada for
literally
that.
like microwave pizza that you can get that looks better than this.
Dude, microwave pizza. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Anyone have a pick in the chat there?
It's kind of slim pickings with this time around. I mean,
What is WPL
Deja has like a couple of questions. I mean, I think we touched on some of them already.
Yeah,
Though.
a little bit.
WPL Tetris win.
I don't want to talk about 4-wide anymore. Like, whatever. That to me is like old news.
I think okay. I'm taking the Daguerreau take on this, right? So Dag like kind of convinced me about this.
Okay.
I think that 4-wide is actually extremely healthy and it's good.
What?
In what sense though?
Like it's a not as much opener 4-wide, right?
Okay, yeah, I always think
Yeah.
of it as an opener, but I think the mid game
but,
4
like,
wide is kind of cool sometimes.
mid-game-
Yeah, like
4-wide?
mid game actually expands the game, but opening, I think like, well, you know what it does.
Like
it just
mid-game 4-wide, you time it, or, unless you're like striding it, right? Or just doing it as fast as possible, which is what some of the higher level players do. But like in a very even match, it's like you have to make sure your opponent's board is like not ready to completely demolish you. You have to make sure like you have to make sure the conditions are set, and then you get your hard win condition, right? So you set up the board and then you make a 4-wide, right? You set up your opponent's board and you make a 4-wide.
well, that's
So,
exactly
It's
how
like interaction, right? It's a
yeah.
win condition. It's a hard win condition, dude. This is what we
Oh
need.
damn. Yeah,
Well, I mean, this is puzzling to me because I think like your ideas fall in line with how the game's evolving in terms of meta already. Like that's exactly the direction that we're already moving towards. Like the way the Firestorm plays, you might see the back-to-back, but it's still to build up towards the center 4-wide. Like
Right,
Firestorm,
why?
confirm on this, please.
Firestorm decompose on that.
You're
is
reading into
not-
it too much.
Like if back-to-back
Firestorm just
doesn't work, his fallback is going to be like a mid-game 4-wide eventually.
It's not
Set
that
up
if
the
it
position.
doesn't work, it's that like there's a certain timing aspect to it. I get
Right,
Like, what I like
yeah.
about mid game forward is just like it. There's
Well,
a
that's the
flow
win
to the
condition, but
game.
you still have like the subtlety for the win condition. That's the issue, because it's not just build a 4-wide in the middle of the game. Like there's still
Yeah, you and KMK need to work.
yeah
on
for it. Yeah, like we suck at the timing for it because we don't know what it is. I still don't know. Like, so I don't want to speak on it. You probably know what the flow is in terms. Okay, it's getting.
Dancing.
You know what the win conditions are.
Dude,
Dude,
Microblizz
You know what
just
the win conditions are.
Dude,
Is
Microblizz,
what I mean.
you need
the
to own
flow
it,
is the
man.
win condition. Shut up.
They're laughing at you. You just need to own it. I enjoy when you talk like that. Just own it up, man.
I actually think that going back to the dancing analogy is great for this. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. But you know, these guys are just think I'm spitting bullshit. Like conceptual mumbo jump. No, this is the real facts. You know this. You. God,
think
you
I-
guys
I'm
don't
trying
get
to
it.
remember the term. There's
Shit,
like a
it sounded
certain
packed
No,
out.
this is the
Wait,
flow.
Yeah.
This is water. You have the flow.
We're getting off the rails here.
It's like you're dancing and you're trying to figure out when to execute. You're like, maybe figure skating's better than dancing. You're trying to figure out like when.
please.
You
You're
gotta
trying to figure
prepare.
out-
No, you gotta prepare for that like triple butterfly flip shit or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
exactly. No,
You gotta build
I
up the
mean,
momentum for it. Like, you know, you go around the curve, bends the knees, jump with all your power, and then spin.
Oh man.
I can't take this shit, dude. I can't take
No,
this.
that's actually great. Like, there's a certain like flow you have to get into where it's like you want to make sure that when you do the forward, it's going to kill. You know, like you have to. There's a give and take.
Yeah, it's not a hard set rule. You guys want hard set rules? It's not like that anymore. Because like the hard set rules only work for people who don't know how to play the game.
Damn.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You think hard set rules are in figure skating?
No,
and
I
not-
mean, okay, think of it like this. Think of it like,
I'm agreeing with
No,
you.
that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Just think of it like this, guys. For the people who aren't in agreement, think of it like this. And QMK and I spoke about this in terms of Raviclia. In terms of hard fundamental skills, I think like he is one of the most talented players. He's got the fastest sprint time. He's got the best dig challenge or whatever, like down stacking, the most
lowest
efficient,
PCs, yeah.
the most efficient patterns. But why isn't he the best? Why is it that even following all these fundamental rules, like you can see it in the way he plays, he follows like checkered patterns. It doesn't unmold from that. So why is it that he's unable to win? To me, it's because he's following like a book instead of following what's happening in the match. That's following the flow. You have to follow the flow of the match as opposed to following your own, like hard setup. You can't just like build the same setup for any situation and it'll work out for you. That's what I'm capturing.
So like just adapting to the situation at hand.
Exactly. Adapt to the situation, not so much your stack. The stack should be it should be moldable. You should be able to turn the stack into anything you want.
I think this has gone a little bit too far.
I'm just listening at
Just a
this
bit.
point. One more question, because
when you get me to talk, like in whatever. Well, I'm just gonna shut up now. You guys don't appreciate shit.
Let's do one more question to pack it up, because I'm starting to get hungry
your
myself.
commentary,
And let's do it from Osk, because we were talking about Tet.rio all day. Osk either ask how much tomato sauce was used on the pizza. It looked like a lot. So the next question: what's your thoughts on Zone Battle and Tetris Effect Connected, as it seems to be an addition to the game? Maybe kinda.
I mean, there hasn't been enough gameplay footage to actually like make a conclusion. Like, okay, with anything that's like an official Tetris game, I wouldn't get my hopes up, but it's like on my radar, right? Like, I'll definitely check it out when it comes out, for sure. Like, and I don't think it's a doomed cause, per se, right? Like, I'm not saying anything like that, but I wouldn't get my hopes up for it again, right?
Hopes up for what now again? Sorry?
Tetris Effect versus, basically.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's move on.
Right. All right. I think we'll call it there. It's already been 2 hours, and I think some of us want to eat.
In conclusion, Tetris is a dance. Go to my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/garbocan_.
You yourself can dance with the champ.
Y'all want to watch me dance? Y'all want to dance with me?
Just Dance Stream 2020?
If we're plugging stuff, twitch.tv/Firestorm58, almost to 1K, would very much appreciate a follow.
Are you doing soft dropping recently?
Soft dropping's fun.
Soft dropping? I think you mean slow dancing.
Slow dancing.
Let's go.
A down tempo dance.
It's like if you're slow dancing and then your opponent's doing the flamingo. I don't know.
Dal, what are you up to, man? Are you stream all the time, don't you? I think
yeah, I reached streaming some random stuff. I've been wanting to get into Among Us just because of you, man. What is that?
It's
actually,
really fun.
Y'all trying to play Among Us sometime, dude? I haven't played that yet.
Is that like a party like mafia game?
Is so much
that
fun.
seems like a pretty dope game. Like it came out in like 2015 though. I was like, why is it so popular now?
I mean, whatever. The internet works in weird ways. I've also, yeah, and Blarg wanted to play with me too, so we could get like the Tetris players in on this.
That'd be fun.
Like,
yo, we should totally do that. I'd be down.
So wait, Among Us is like a mafia kind of game, right? Like a party game, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone plays Mafia or Town of Salem or one of those kind of games.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, I've been streaming that. I broke past 1,000 followers yesterday, so that was pretty cool.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
TY.
Microblizz.
Yeah, I've been playing Undertale and stuff, but
Undertale.
Yeah, Undertale's pretty fun, and yeah, just trying to like variate streaming a bit more, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Daliciouss. Except how many S's is there? Fuck, I don't know.
You can put it in Twitch chat if you want.
2 S's.
I saw you were in chat.
2 S's.
Seems like an intentional design flaw.
Just because the original Daliciouss was taken.
Micro has the twiddle that he doesn't use.
But I need to plug myself, dude, in chat. Garbo.
You already did. Oh,
no,
putting
in
it
chat,
in
in
chat.
chat.
Wait, that's
So
smart,
people
that's
can
smart.
click it. All right,
Yeah.
there. Click
doing
that
that
link.
too.
Oh, I spelled it. Or did I spell it right? Yeah.
Wait, why are you plugging the channel that
I
everyone's watching?
felt left out, man. I wanted to join
Oh,
the fray.
okay. Yeah, sure.
Blizz, are you doing anything or just kind of?
Everyone just link their own channels in.
Wait, what now?
Oh wait, blog and Microblizz are the same person.
How's it? Yeah, I was asking if you have any plugs, Microblizz, or are you done?
I mean, everything is just Microblizz, so you can look it up. But I mean, the next big thing that I wanted, well, it's not really so big. Everybody's doing Tetris coaching, so I wanted to get in on that. But I was gonna do like signups for if you want to get coached. I'm probably gonna take like 4 per stream. We can do like 30-minute sessions, and you know, you can prepare some
Dance
replays.
lessons? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Yo,
man.
can I get
fucking
coaching?
go. You can hear me talk about waterfalls and shit.
Dude.
You know, like the
Wait,
dynamics of that
waterfalls?
you have to follow.
Wait, waterfalls? What?
Wait,
more enticing,
Okay, you
honestly.
know what? Save that for next time. Save that for
Nah,
next time.
no.
I haven't slept yet. I'm tired as fuck, dude. I didn't sleep all night. I didn't sleep all
Fuck.
day.
All right, yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
call it. Thanks everyone for watching. That was fun. We got
Thank
off
you
the
for
rails
having
more than once.
me
But,
on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
yeah, see you guys.